What is going on, guys, gals, and other pals? I am Septilence here with Jag to bring you a little bit of pre-game interview coming in quickly. We're going to be interviewing one of three people right now, and his name's going to be Shottle.
What's
Shottle, you
going
with us
on?
there? Hey, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Synchronicity Fortnite Duos Tournament. It's great to have you here. Great for all the viewers watching at home to be here with us. And we know that you have some experience in these tournaments previously. You've done pretty well, from my understanding.
Yes, sir. I have.
Yeah, so Shottle, you're quite the force to be reckoned with. At least from what we understand, you've got four first-place titles under your belt, which I believe is more than anybody else. And I mean, is there anybody that you're specifically like looking out for? Anybody you want to keep an eye on today?
Man, Ram and Troaster. They were putting up a fight that last one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, all
And
right,
yeah.
fair enough. You wouldn't happen to know the rest of our interview lineup, would you?
It is Ram and Troaster.
It sure is. So, as you hear it first, folks, Shottle telling us to watch out for both Ram and Troaster, and we'll be hearing from them in just a couple of minutes here. But, Shottle, tell us a little bit more about yourself. How long have you been competing in the Fortnite scene?
I've been competing since about World Cup, but I took it seriously about 3 seasons ago, back in season 2, chapter 2, and I actually just got 89th or 82nd in the tournament today for the trios one. So pretty
All
proud of
right.
that.
Yeah, definitely something to be proud of indeed. I mean, we've got your stats pulled up here. We're just taking a little bit of look at things, and I mean, you've got almost 3,000 eliminations, rounding out 76 wins. That's pretty stinking good. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
last 7 days. You know, that's lifetime. Okay. For a second, I was like, that's kind of like, I was like, that's kind of crazy. But no, that is lifetime.
That account actually isn't too old. I think it's about 2 seasons old. Made it last season. I gave my other one to my brother.
All right, definitely a good look, man. Jag, you got any questions for him before we kind of pick up into our next one?
Yeah, so I got to ask. So, the previous tournaments, from my understanding, they were, more single competitive ones. This is duos. So you've done really well on your own. Now you're bringing in a partner. How do you feel about that? How does that change up your play style?
Pretty confident because he's pretty good. We've been playing some scrims and stuff and doing pretty good. So
Yeah, and who
yeah.
who is your partner for this event today?
He goes by Keegan in game, and then his name in the Discord is CJFN.
Right. Well, we'll be looking out for the two of you. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this first interview here, Septilence. Thank you so much, Shottle, for joining us.
Yeah, like you said,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Shottle, and we're excited to see what you bring to the table today, man. You're one of the names to look out for here. And with that, I think our next interviewee is going to be. Hold on, I have it written down here. It's going to be, I believe, Troaster is going to be our next one coming in. I don't think he's in the call with us quite yet.
No, we're gonna be waiting on that interview. But in the meantime, we can talk a little bit about what today is and what's gonna happen. So this is the first of a few Fortnite duo tournaments that's gonna be happening here via GameSync. There's gonna be 4 games on the docket, and looks like we have our interviewee in here now. Yeah, Trisser is here, but before we talk to them, we're just gonna keep going over the rules a little bit. It's first place getting 50 points. You get 50 points for finishing in first place, and then 4 points per kill, 30 for second, 20 for third, fourth, 10th, and 5. You get 5 points. And those add up all over time. And after those 4 matchups, top of the leaderboard, there are some prizes at stake, including possibly a cash pool depending on donations, but most importantly, those placement points for the Synchronicity Duos #1 later on. But enough talking about what we're going to see. Let's talk to Troaster. How are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good.
So, Troaster, tell us a little bit about yourself. We got to talk to Shottle just a minute ago, and you're one of 2 names he mentioned on somebody to look out for. Are you feeling confident going into this today? And do you feel a similar rivalry coming towards Shottle as you move into these first sets here?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about today. I feel like I can do pretty well. And like he said, I'm pretty good. And Shottle, he's a big contender. He's done really well in the past few tournaments, so I'm definitely going to be looking out for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any other names that you're looking out for, or is Shottle kind of top of your list?
Mostly Shottle, yeah. He's definitely going to be my biggest contender.
And another question for you. Jag asked this one to Shottle just before this, but you're bringing in a duos partner today. How do you think that's going to kind of change your play style? Because if I'm not mistaken, you come from a solo scene, right?
Uh-huh. I definitely think, for me, mostly, I like duos more, because I think there's a lot more communication. when you're with someone rather than yourself, and you can work together better and just do better.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
It's always great to have a partner who holds all of the med kits and shield potions. But I gotta ask you, what are you most excited for in this new season? Is there anything that you've really liked that Epic has added to the game? Is there anything that's really changed things up, or do you think it's been more the same old as of late?
I really like this season so far. I mean, although they removed the pumps, which is kind of I didn't really like it. But I like all the new gameplay mechanics. I like those rocks you can find in the desert. They're really useful for like rotation. They're also
For
good
sure.
for box fighting. You can see some tips. They're really good for that. And so I like the new mechanics.
So what I'm hearing is you're not a fan of the charge shotgun, then.
No, I I'm okay with it. It's not my best.
Yeah, that makes two of us. I'm not a big fan of that weapon either personally. That's something that I don't know. I just don't like it too much. But Troster, correct me if I'm wrong, but you've participated in quite a few of these, but haven't quite secured a victory yet, right?
Actually, I did win number 9.
All
I got
right.
second place. So
All
that's
right,
pretty cool.
perfect. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Do you think today you're going to be able to secure a first place position? Are you going more for placement or more for elimination?
I think really, because from my past tournament experience, I think mostly we're gonna be going for placement. Just really get those big points.
Yeah, definitely the way to go. That's how I'd play it personally, and I'm sure I'll talk about that later on stream. I think that's probably the way to go. But Jag, unless you've got any other questions, that's going to wrap up this one as well, I believe.
No, that's gonna wrap it up right there. And for those watching at home, it's really about that first, second, and third place finish at the end of all 4 matchups. Those points gonna be so important going on into later tournaments. But yeah, that's gonna be that for that interview. So now we're gonna bring in Ramix fan, that last person that was first introduced by Shuttle. Not sure if they're in the call with us already. Doesn't look like it, so we'll have to
All
be
right. Well, it
waiting.
looks like they're not, but this is a good time to talk about that placement versus elimination thing while we're waiting for him to get in here. He is going to be joining us, but just to put it into perspective very quickly, if you finish in first place, that's 50 points. That's 13 eliminations to equal that same amount of points. So that's just something to consider moving forward. Is that first place much more valuable? Ram, are you with us, my friend?
Hello, how's everybody doing?
Hey, we're doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
So, Ram, I've got this written down here, and I might be wrong, but it says you've secured a victory in number 8 of last event.
Yes, yes, I did.
How are you feeling like you're going to be able to pick up 1 or 2 more today? How are you feeling going into this confidence-wise?
I'm feeling pretty confident. It's
That's
nice
good
to
to
be
hear.
some more comfortable in duos, so I think that'll be a little better.
So you come from a more comfortability of a duo scene versus these other two we've talked to who both kind of came from that solo region.
Yes.
That definitely might give you a leg up. So who's your partner today? I forgot to ask Troster that.
That is my little brother, actually. Sky Big
Oh.
9 is his in-game name.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. That's something awesome that you guys get to do together. So one more question from me, and then we'll throw you over to Jag. But do you think, I don't know if you heard the interview with Troster just a couple minutes ago, but do you think the best way to do this is to go for those eliminations or go for the survivability and just live as long as you can?
Placement is more rewarding, but it depends on how stacked the lobby is going to be.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Those are all the questions I've got. So Jag, if you want to.
Yeah, so I gotta ask. You just mentioned that your partner is your brother. It's a very adorable story. How long have you guys been playing with each other in this game?
Not we don't really play competitively, but we've been playing since season 1, I guess, really.
Dang.
So who's the carry? Is it you or him?
We got to know.
Definitely.
I mean, the 10,000 eliminations definitely don't lie on that front.
Yeah.
So,
these are
is there anybody
some
you're
really good
looking out
stats.
for? Yeah, is there anybody you're looking out for today? Either of the people that we talked to earlier. If there's another name that we haven't heard yet, is there anybody you're a little bit worried to go up against?
Number 1 threat is probably Shottle. Definitely Shottle.
Yeah, that seems to be an on-running theme here so far tonight. So everybody watching at home, he's definitely somebody to keep an eye on.
So I gotta ask, and I don't want you to give up too much of your strategy. Don't want to give up anything to your competitors, but for drops in general, do you think that it's better to go with something that's right off the bat, try to get like right off the battle bus as soon as you see the island, or are you trying to look for something a little bit later on the line, maybe farther away from everyone else?
I would have we have a drop spot, so we would just, depending on the location, just go there no matter what, whether it's hot drop or late.
Well, we'll see if you can get to it later on. Sep, do you have anything else that you got?
No, that's going to be it from me, all things considered. But we wish you the best of luck, my friend, and I'm very excited to see you out there on the battlefield.
Yes, thank you guys.
All right, best of luck to those three competitors. And we got about 30 plus teams competing today. 2-0s to be exact. So there's going to be a lot of competitors here that we're going to see on stream. And there's a lot at stake, as we mentioned early on. Each matchup worth a certain amount of points depending on how you finish, as well as how many kills you get. And at the end of those 4 matches, that stats are going to go into later duo tournaments put on by GameSync in the Synchronicity series. GameSync, great thing to be with. And if you haven't heard about them, they've got a land location in the San Diego area. They are still open, so you want somewhere to play, want to use some of the finest facilities and all of the land, be sure to go check it out there. And they are making sure to keep social distancing, so you can game there in safety in these interesting times that we're living in. And Seplince, I got to ask you, we just talked about early drops early on, but what do you think that these duos should be doing as we get into this first matchup in a little bit? Do you think they should be going for those hot drops, or stay back and wait a little bit?
Yeah, so I'll be the first to admit that I am by no means a the Fortnite expert. I'm actually quite bad at this game myself, but broadcasting esports is what I love to do, so there's nowhere else I'd rather be. But personally, when I play this game, I pick a location as far away from everybody else as I can get, and I hide like a baby until we're in the final circle. And I used to be much better on console, but this game is a whole different beast on PC. And I think we've got people coming from all varieties of platforms here today. If I'm not mistaken, we've got mobile players, PC players, controller players. So I mean, this is going to be a bloodbath in every right. And personally, I'm more of a hide and stay hiding kind of guy. But are you the same way? I'm curious to know.
Well, I think we actually went over this, and I have over 100 wins in Fortnite, though I will be honest,
right.
I haven't played as much. I played a lot more when the game first came out, so, during Season 1, when it was still technically in beta. I played it a lot, mostly in squads, and our plan was always that one drop spot. So kind of what we just talked about with Ramixfin, you kind of have that one sweet location that you always go to. It's not necessarily about the loot availability, it's just kind of where it is on the map and where you can go from there. So we had one at the very top left of the map. Unfortunately, the map has changed a lot since then, so no longer exists, but I have plenty of fond memories of going there myself. I think it's just, placement is so important, especially in these
For sure.
first matches. I think later on, then it becomes more about kills, especially if you didn't do as well in the first few matches. Go into match 3, you haven't had one of those top 5 finishes, haven't been able to get a lot of scores and kills on the board. That's when you have to be a bit more aggressive. But at the beginning, we might see it be a little bit more just hide and seek with these different teams.
Yeah, absolutely. The hide and seek with these teams, indeed. And I talked about this early on before the broadcast, and we've mentioned it as well already. But it's definitely going to come down to that first game. You want to place as high as you possibly can. You want to go for that first, second, or third place, because those points in the upcoming sets are going to be very, very important for not only you as a duo, but just your positioning in the tournament as a whole. If you can secure those early points, you can really maybe play those other games a little bit slower and then maybe just farm those points again. It really does come down to placement, because like I said, to get the equivalent of those 50 points you get for placing first, you have to get 13 eliminations, and that's quite a tall order.
Yep, and just beyond that, this is not the only Fortnite tournament we're going to be having in the upcoming. In fact, we've got another one coming up next week. It's the Oceanside tournament. Currently, there is a wait list to get on it and a $15 entry fee, but you never know. Maybe if you're seeing this and you're like, hey, I really want to compete in this, something like this, you might be able to join into that next week. But it's exactly a week from today, and other events coming in from GameSync as well, including Valorant tournaments. So be sure to be on the lookout for those. And if you're not already, be sure to join the Discord server for all those tournament announcements, as well as more information in the great community. Discord.gg/GameSync. Be sure to be looking out for more information there. And it looks like right now we're just waiting for a few more people to be joining the lobby, but we should be getting this game going sooner than later.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely coming in very quickly here, and things are definitely going to be interesting. And like Jag mentioned, if you want to join any of the social media, I'm probably going to point the wrong direction if I lift up this hand. It's down there. It's right down there in that bottom
No, you
corner.
got it.
So
You
definitely
did it.
check all of that out. I had to do a little bit of mirroring there, but there's the YouTube, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Discord, the Facebook. Follow all those. Stay updated, because there are so many tournaments to come in the year of 2021. You are not going to want to miss a single one of them. There is so much ready to be lined up here. And not even just Fortnite. Like Jag already mentioned, there's going to be Valorant. I'm sure there's going to be many more games as we move kind of down this year through 2021. So keep an eye out, because there, like I said, so much to come.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great year, and hopefully your 2021 at home is starting off a little bit better than 2020 ended. But, in the meantime, esports, at least we have them here. I mean, this is going to be a great event. There's going to be a lot of great events, as we already talked about. And also be sure to check out the website. There's a lot of information, not only about the LAN Center, but as well as events that are going to be online and possibly offline in the future. Still waiting for a few more people to get into the lobby, but you can tell that this chat, it's going mad over Shottle. I mean, Shottle seems to be known by about everyone. We've already talked to everyone, the two other of the top players, and both of them looking out to get Shottle down. And I'm thinking, you did really well in the solo matchups, but duos, it's a whole new animal. You got to rely on a teammate. I mean, sure, you can 1v2 time and time again, but it's going to be so much more difficult than, just going on to these 1v1s that you usually are used to.
Yeah, absolutely. 2v2s are completely different than 1v1s, and I think that's something that we're going to see here. Shottle not only is the name to look out for, but he's also got a massive target on his back because he's the name to watch out for. Especially if he performs well in this first game, the second game's going to... I mean, everybody's going to be on top of this player, so he's got to watch out because he's carrying a burden on his shoulders here, and hopefully he can come out on top of it, because if people find him fast enough, I wouldn't be surprised to see him targeted down.
Yeah, once you're at the top of the leaderboard after the first match, I mean, you've got a huge bounty on your head already. Like, everyone knows who Shottle is. So basically, if you're able to take down this big time player, you will be known as the Kingslayer. It'll give you a lot of momentum going into the later matchups, and it also might not Shottle down a little. Hey, like, I thought I'd do really well, but didn't do as well because everyone's looking for me. So that might also change up how Shottle plays themselves, because maybe they'll try to be a bit more passive, a bit more opportunistic, and wait for those big third or fourth party engagements instead of just going all out and trying to find kills early on.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's a couple players kind of bouncing around in chat right now. And if any of you are watching, I dare one of you to rep the banana skin, PLE, and I will leave that at that. But if one of you does, I will notice. So go ahead and do that. It's my personal favorite skin in the game. So I would love to see one of you guys repping it, and it would help us keep an eye on who is who, to be quite honest. So
I'm an OG. I played, when the first Battle Pass came out, and I love the Knight skins. They have the Black Knight in particular.
those are awesome.
One of my favorite of all time. It's really interesting to see, not a lot of people wear it anymore. Fortnite has evolved so much since those times. I mean, look at just like the emotes in particular. Now they have licensed music in them. That's something that I never thought you'd see. The first dance emote, man, that's a throwback. I'd love to see someone just like, pop that out after getting a kill. A little bit of friendly sportsmanship there, just got to show them, hey, look at me. I got that kill. I'm going to dance on you just a little bit. And for those watching at home and you don't know Fortnite that well, it's a battle royale, and we're playing in teams of 2. The way it works is you want to just eliminate every team or be the last team standing. There is a circle that will enclose on the map that does damage over time. So you might not necessarily have to be eliminated by an actual opponent to lose. You get knocked down, you're not out of it, but you can't actually help your teammate fight. And, since those changes a while ago, there are revives in this game. So just because you're eliminated early on doesn't mean you're out completely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, there's going to be the circle on the map that slowly closes and forces the players closer and closer together. And that's just going to be a great way to keep them engaged and help the game get to an end point. Because realistically, if the map didn't slowly close, then players could be hiding wherever they wanted to. So that's a great way to keep the game in motion.
And it gets wild, like near the end. Like that final storm, like once it starts moving around, oh boy, that's when things really get kicked into 12th gear.
Yeah, absolutely. We come down to that final circle and the players have nowhere to hide. I mean, that's when the bloodbath can really begin. And it looks like we're having a slight technical difficulty, so we might have to... you guys might have to hang out with us just a little bit longer as we wait for this to come through. Something to do with the lobby, something or other. But hey, we've got plenty to talk about moving forward. It would be a great time to... I'm going to screw it up this time. This way? No! All right.
No, yeah. Last time you had it.
Socials down this way. It's off to my right.
Cast or curse yourself.
So check out all those socials down there past the Synchronicity sign. Like I said, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord. They're all right there. Give it a check out because there is so much to be coming at you guys this year. I mean, even though we have this extra time now, I feel like we still don't have all the time we need to talk about what's coming up this year. So join those social medias, join those platforms, and definitely give it a look because there's a whole new world coming up in 2021.
Absolutely. And I mean, we might be here next week again, so you'll get to hang out with us a little bit more in a week, but that's later. This is right now. We still have a lot of matches to be played for, to be exact. We'll be here for the first 2, then we're going to bring in some other casters for the last, so you'll get to hang out with them and see their beautiful faces as well later on. But in the meantime, you're just going to have to soak in the glory of this amazing night. It's a Friday night. I mean, there's no better way to spend it. I know this is a West Coast organization based in California, but whether you're Mountain Time in the mid coast or on the East Coast, like me and Septons are, there's a lot of games to be played.
Yeah, even though this is a West Coast event and a West Coast based thing, we're about as East Coast as you can get. I personally am from Ohio, the Cleveland area of Ohio, so that's we're pretty much just. Oh, he's a little bit further, but I'm pretty far from West Coast.
In fairness, though, I did grow up in the Seattle area, so I do know West Coast, Best Coast, which is a good thing. But East Coast, Beast Coast for now. But there's gonna be players from all over the country, at least for this event, I believe. I know that later on it might be more to the California area, depending on the tournament. But we're gonna see. I know that the games are being played on different servers. They're gonna be starting on the West Coast, then moving over to the East Coast later on, so that way all players get equal opportunity for ping. Sounds like we might be ready to get this started.
Yeah, we're going to be jumping in just a couple of minutes here. We're getting the final players into the lobby, and it looks like things are going to be coming up any second now. This is going to be, like you said, I love the fact that they're doing the 2 West Coast servers and the 2 East Coast servers so that anybody nationwide can compete in this tournament. And I think a lot of places don't do that, so definitely huge respect for the people putting on Synchronicity tonight to have that idea come through. So definitely something to look out for moving forward is, are certain players going to do poorly in the first 2 and clutch out the second 2, or vice versa? Are we going to see somebody very strong in the beginning and then maybe weaken out, burn out that flame at the end when it comes through, and their ping just makes it impossible to play?
I mean, I don't know about you, but I love using ping as an excuse when I don't do well in games. Whenever I play something like Valorant, I'm like, oh, they headshot me because I'm playing on a California server. Don't worry, it's not because I'm just bad at this game. But yeah, you never know. It can be a bit of a mindset thing where like, hey, like, I didn't do as well on these first 2, but I'm based all the way in, who knows, maybe like Maine or something like that. So, I'm very far away. I'm at the tippy top of Maine. I'm basically in Canada at this point. So then you switch over to the East Coast servers, then you feel a bit more comfortable. Those milliseconds don't add up as much, and we'll see if that is a factor or if the players we expect to be doing well will continue to be dominant in these tournaments. So here we are, everyone, friends. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for sticking through our spiel. We are finally getting into the game right now, Septlins, and I don't know about you, but I'm ready to see these players jump off the battle bus.
Absolutely. I could not be more excited for what is coming up ahead of us in Synchronicity. All of you watching at home, everybody ready to put this event on. This is the beginning of what we have been waiting for. We've got these teams coming out quickly. And if I can do math, no, I'm not going to try to do mental math on stream. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. But we've got quite a few teams coming out for you here in Synchronicity now. They put all this together for you guys, for these players to come through. And now it's time for this event to really pop off. These players finally are going to get the opportunity to show off what they've been waiting to show off for quite a while.
Absolutely, and you gotta think they're getting probably a little bit impatient. They've been like, "Oh, I'm ready to go. Let's get this going." All that excitement, all that adrenaline, it's gonna hit you right at the beginning, and then you gotta reel yourself in just a little bit. Stay focused. Obviously, stay hyped because you want to still be like playing at your best, your most, but you just don't want to get ahead of yourself. You gotta just reel it back in a little bit. And then once you can do that, you can find a few elims at the very beginning, get those rotations in through the storm. I mean, that might be all you need to get you into a top 5 finish here in the first matchup we have tonight.
Yeah, and like we talked about, you want to finish in that top 5 if at all possible, because that nets you some very comfortable points early on. Coming in 5th place gets you 5 points, which is a little bit more than a single elimination. So it doesn't put you above everybody else, but really that top 3 placement, first place 50 points, second place 30 points, third place 20 points. Those are a number of eliminations. So those are definitely comfortable things for these players to have here. And that, at least in this first game, is where I think everybody's really going to be looking out.
Yeah, absolutely. We're waiting for the feed to come back. It looks like they're about to be dropping off the battle bus. The way that this works, unfortunately, is we don't have the observer feature, so we're doing a little bit of a workaround. So we're going to wait for our observer cam to get on the ground. So we're not being able to see that initial drop, but once we get that going, we'll get it in. And I'm really interested to see exactly where people play this out. I mean, we talked about this a lot earlier in our little bit of a ramble about if you play farther away, if you play more in a hot drop location where there's going to be a lot of people. I'd love to see that hot drop right away and see if there are any early eliminations. I mean, you might just be running to try to find a gun and immediately you're done, and that's it. Your first matchup already out. You're done. Yeah. It's over.
Yeah, unfortunately, with games like this, somebody has to be the first one eliminated, and that is not who anybody wants to be. It looks like we've still got most of our players here online coming in. We are currently watching Wuspect and Pike, is how I'm going to choose to pronounce that. That might not be correct, and I apologize if it's not. But we see that they've landed relatively high up in the mountains here. That's going to be a good spot. This isn't really a hot drop. It's more one of those unspecific locations, somewhere you can find some decent loot without really having to put the pressure on yourself.
Absolutely. So we'll see how that ends up. And again, it's that loot that's really important. So if you can find anything better than gray, that's a great way to start this off. And you already see three green guns at the very get-go. So that's going to be a bit good thing.
Yeah, and it looks like now we see Pike and Wuspect. They're going to stick together, obviously, as this duo. Going to try to watch one another's backs. And the mini shields, I mean, those are really going to come down to what matters at the end of the day. They're great to heal up right in the middle of a fight. They take very little time, to find that extra healing, and that might help you survive one shotgun shot. But that, at the end of the day, could be all you needed to survive to take out your opponent. Now they're really going to get into that mat farming scenario, something that we've seen time and time again. It's something a lot of players are very comfortable with, and it's what you should be doing in early game to really secure that you're going to have plenty of materials to build your defenses and platforms with later on.
And one of the tricks here is that, especially if you're breaking trees, you don't want to break it all the way. You want to leave a little bit of its health left. You want to get most of the wood that you can get out of it, but that way you aren't giving away your location. Trees, when they fall, everyone can see them. They do, in fact, make a sound. And also, one thing I want to point out is we talked about like having good guns at the beginning and having all those green items, but now you see the Dragon Breath shotgun already in the inventory of one of these players. It's a very good gun to have out of the gate. You'll have to be a little bit careful of how you use it, especially when you have a two-shotty setup. So maybe you go for the tactical shot first or vice versa, then swap to the other one. But with the order they have right now in their inventory, they won't be able to do that immediately without having to go through the grenades first.
Yeah, the Dragon's Breath shotgun is definitely an unusual one and not something that is necessarily easy to use. It's not something that I prefer to pick up. I don't think I'm very good with its unique usage compared to what you see from a lot of other weapons. And now, I mean, we've got 41 players left, so a couple of eliminations have come through, but none of them have been seen by us quite yet. We see that bottom left there, that Filth RL was able to find one, make it 2 eliminations. They took out a squad almost on their own, as Mini JRB was able to pick up another one. C Army is just able to find a double kill there, a knock and an elimination, finds the partner as well, so taking out a squad of their own. Already down to 36. It looks like the hot drop may have finally started kicking off here.
Yeah, absolutely. There can be a bit of a phase where just, players running around, they don't want to go for that early engage, even if they know that their enemies are all around them. You see here that this is kind of the opposite of that. Instead, they try to pick a more isolated location. Because of that, they're going to have some good weapons. You see one of them not fully to that 100% shield, about 9 shield away, specifically from being away from that 100, but still some good stuff to start it up. And, that strategy, it might pay off later. We already heard some of them would be rather place high than go for those wins early on, and it seems like this team is one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Something definitely unusual coming out here is that you don't see this isn't a full lobby coming out. So this first circle is pretty much a guaranteed survival as long as you're not landing in one of those extra hot drops. And we see that this team here, Wuspect and Pike, who we're probably going to be hanging out with for a while until they get eliminated, but they've chosen to not land at a named location, and that really is helping them out in terms of survival because the odds of running into anybody right now are very low.
They are indeed. You can just hold down this location. You can just keep farming it for materials as they have been. One thing I do want to point out, as you saw, is that there was actually someone who was rebooted. So one person just got a team member back alive, which is so important. So much easier to go into this later on, especially once the circle closes in with a full duo squad. You don't want to be going into those 1v2s, even if you're as good as some of the players we've seen earlier on.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not something you'd want to see coming out quickly is getting eliminated. And then, if you're able to recover your teammate, that is a very awesome thing for the duo as a whole. Really gets to keep these people alive and keep them in the game. Now, Wuspect and Pike, they're going to go up to this high ground here, which is a bit dangerous because there are sniper rifles in the game. But like I said, the odds of somebody being around them are pretty low. 37 people left and pretty much the entire map at their disposal for the time being. I really don't expect anybody to run into any high combat, at least for a couple more minutes here.
And it seems like from what we've seen from their loadouts, they really would favor a short range sort of situation. They don't really have anything they can do if it comes down to like an AR battle. Sure, they have that one green AR, but they don't have a sniper, so they can't really outrange any of their enemies. You see that there is some building to the right of them. So at one point, there was at least one duo that was here, knowing that it might give them an idea of where someone went. I'm not sure if they want to chase the den or they just want to move closer to the circle, which they didn't really have to do because, as you saw, there it is. They found that duo, and now this is going to be the first fight we're going to see on stream of the day.
Yeah, the first fight on stream coming out here, definitely coming in high quality, high caliber as well. Wuspect and Pike going to put the pressure on. Here's a duo. It's going to be a 1v1 here between these two. A lot of damage coming out quickly. Pike able to secure that knockdown and a lot of health being taken off of Wuspect there. Now Pike putting in the pressure. Here we go once again. We see Wuspect putting it in. Pike just right behind him. The awareness of that person definitely not something you want to have happen to you live on stream there, but the knock does come through onto Zuppler. Wuspect able to find that elimination, and now if they can find their partner, it's going to be a 2v1 in favor of Wuspect and Pike here.
It is indeed. They already secured that one elimination. You see the shots coming in now. They've been found out a little bit. Oh, they're going to have to build around it. This is where you see mats become so important. Now they're using the cement already, so wood, they still have a good amount of wood, but instead they just want to have a more secure base. That's going to be good so they can heal up with those minis. So the shield, not going to be at a full 100, but going to be at least to a 50 unless they get broken. You and I were talking a lot about this before the cast went live. It's so important to decide what material you use, because if you use the wrong one, it might be life or death. Sure, the bricks, the cement, they work better, they're stronger, but they get broken easier because it takes longer for them to actually set. Now the grenades being thrown in, and if they break the base of this wooden structure, it might be a huge advantage for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shottle just found a double kill in the bottom, but that may have been a knockdown elimination advantage in just the blink of an eye. But Shottle with at least one elimination under their belt there. It's going to be 4 points in favor of Shottle already, and they're very alive. So, I mean, that's out there. Looks like there may be another one coming out very soon. The 2v1s now here are going to get hyper aggressive. Wuspect, no shields online, and Pike is going to have some shields for them here in this moment. Right now, the pressure is coming on as the duo is closing in on them. 35 players remain. The damage comes out quick. That Dragon's Breath shotgun finally comes in handy. Helps Wuspect pick up an elimination there. It's going to be a great look for them. They've got, I think, 3 eliminations under their belt at this point, maybe 2.
It looks like I believe they have 2 to be exact, but one thing I'm wondering is that they're going to be starting to run out of utility. They're going to be running out of consumables. They will still have 1 medkit, but they had to use all of their mini shield potions that they still had left. You're going to see Ben Fishy being taken out there, so that's a big player going down early on. And now there might be another threat going down here. As you see, 46 health and a dream. This duo right now, they are under constant pressure, and that last medkit being committed.
Yeah, the last medkit. No, it looks like they're going to choose to go out of it. They may have heard an opponent coming through, and now they're going to choose to use it right on the brink of their structure. Not exactly the smartest play, in my opinion, because they could stand in the middle of the large structure they've built, but now they've chosen to stand on the furthest wall that they could. It looks like they're going to be able to secure it and come through with it. But now the enemy just right there, a single headshot coming through it, and an Anonymous able to take out Wuspect there. The knock and the elimination. Now we're going to jump onto them instead. That's going to be a double kill for them here. They're down to 7 health, and there are no consumables in sight except for these mini shields in their inventory.
Absolutely. So that's going to be the end of the team we've been following for the most part. They were able to get a few kills, a few points here and there, but they are not going to be able to reach that top 5. Now we'll see if Anonymous can do something. It looks like, is their partner just bleeding out right now? I can't tell. Oh, it looks like their card is running out. So they really need to get their partner's card for a potential reboot, but I'm not sure they're anywhere close to it right now.
Yeah, the card is running out, and I think they died somewhere outside this structure, but I think they needed to find this card way before they started healing themselves. That may have been a very sloppy mistake. They're going to go to find the card here, but I'm not sure if they were able to pick it up in time.
No, I think that's it. I think now they're going to be a lone wolf for the rest of the game. So you're able to take care of that other duo, but now you're going to have to go it alone. We talked about how important it is to make sure that your duo stays strong, that you're both running into that final circle near the end, but that's not going to be possible for Anonymous. So we'll see if they can get any more elims. It would be really impressive if they can crack that top 5 at the end, but we are getting closer and closer. There's only 27 players remaining in this lobby.
Yeah, absolutely. 27 players remaining. The circle closing in slowly but surely here. And this right now, this Anonymous that we're watching, a fantastic loadout. 2 purple ARs, a blue tactical shotgun, and I believe what is a sniper rifle there. It might be a charged shotgun. I can't see it very well on my screen. I'm looking at a little bit of lag here. But, you know, they've got these great weapons here, these purples and these blues, and some mini shields to boot. So as long as they don't take any physical damage, as long as they stick in this shield damage, this should be A-okay.
Yeah, I can confirm that is, in fact, a charged shotgun. So they got 2 of the scars, 2 of the purple ARs. So it's very interesting. You know, they could possibly just like fire an entire clip of one and then swap to the other one. You know, you see that set up a lot where you'll have 2 of the same gun. Just that way you don't ever run out of ammo. But it also means that you don't have a sniper rifle. You don't have that same long range damage. We talked about how that could be so imperative later on, especially when there's a lot of buildings that are built up, but for now, it looks like Anonymous just going to be chilling, dropping some weapons, and dropping some ammo as well.
You know, it looks like I think they did pick up their teammate's player card. I think.
Yep, there it
Yeah,
is.
no,
did
they definitely
indeed.
did. Okay, we did not see the reboot come through, but the successful reboot is able to find itself here. Now they've got plenty of items to do so as well. That explains the pickup of the double AR, and they give them 2 mini shields as well. So that's going to bring this player back not only with a great weapon, but with 150 health as well.
Yeah, that pretty much takes away everything I said about, not having the full duo at the end. Now they do. That's why the reboot is so important. It really changes the pace of the game. At one point, you weren't able to do that in Fortnite. Once you were eliminated, it was permanent. You just had to hope that your partners or teammates would be able to finish it off. But now, Anonymous and a player, by the way, both going to be here. They don't have that full shield, so that could be the difference maker later on. Both of them at 150 health as opposed to 200. But like you said, both of them have those purple ARs. They both have the scar, so they do have some firepower on their side.
Yeah, definitely some firepower in their corner here. And as long as they can keep themselves in decent shape after a fight, I mean, they've got some bandages. It's not going to bring them back up to full health. It'll bring them to 75 instead of 100, but it's definitely going to help them, down the road as long as they don't get completely eliminated in a fight.
We'll see what they do later on. It looks like right now they're just stuck at Retail Row, one of the only surviving locations from the old map, one of my favorites. A true test of time standing building, assortment of buildings here. I don't know how to describe it as, just really like a parking lot in a little strip mall, but still, this is where right now where they are making their home. And you see that player, by the way, did actually find a full shield, so Anonymous is going to be the one who's weaker. And it looks like they're just in a bunker down now. That idea of just playing for placement instead of kills, so important, but they have been found out, and here's the fight starting.
Yeah, and phenomenal shots there coming through. I think it was 3 shots in total. Something I noticed from this team here, Anonymous and Player, is they don't have a lot of materials except for that metal. They're definitely looking to play an end game. They want to build as long and as fast as possible to get these high quality walls coming in. They can survive a lot longer bunker down, and they're going to want the metal to do that. That seems to be the strategy they're choosing. And as this other team pushes in, we're going to have to see which one of these teams can get a little bit more aggressive successfully.
The problem of that, though, is that look at least in this particular situation, they have literally no wood left for this one player. Yeah, they have a lot of brick left, but once you use all that up and you're left with only metal, that's where it can get a bit dire. Again, if you destroy it before it's built up all the way, then that extra amount of damage it can take means nothing. And right now you're seeing these two teams, they are running at each other. They don't want to be just staying in one spot and shooting from a distance.
Yeah, definitely playing kind of a slow bunker strategy. Both teams slowly but surely closing in on one another. Now a lot of damage coming out here from this player. Excuse me, this is actually Anonymous, ironically enough. But player is going to get knocked here. A lot of damage coming through onto these structures. They're going to put some pressure on, try to find these eliminations. And I lost my feed for just a moment, but as I did, it looks like they were eliminated. And here is Ramex Fan, one of the 3 players we were able to interview before the matchup here today. He's showing a name for himself already, picking up a double kill.
Yep, very impressive from them there. Here's an instant replay of what just happened. It looks like for a second they might have caught them off guard, but immediately they turned on Anonymous, who was still left alive. Player, by the way, just could not save their teammate. And as you said, Ram Fan, one of those 3 players you interviewed earlier on, one of those 3 players to look out for is making a name for themselves, and they're getting closer and closer to that top 5 placement.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they want. They want to find that top 5 placement because it's a very good place to be. You secure some extra points.
And here's one thing that I find really interesting. You talked about it earlier, this is open to all platforms. We can have mobile players here, but right now this is a team of PC and PlayStation. So I think that's really interesting to kind of see how that interconnected play can really be a difference maker, Ram Fan, on the PC. And I know, usually when you think of big Fortnite streamers, someone like Ninja, they really like using the PC just because it's really easy to build. There are so many things you can do with a keyboard versus a controller, but so far, Sky, Big Brody, and Ramex Fan both staying strong, and just have to avoid the storm a little bit. It's getting very close to them.
Yeah, they're definitely hugging the edge of the storm here, which, like we said earlier, when it comes down to placement, isn't necessarily a bad idea. You want to look for that top 5 placement, and the closer you are to the storm, kind of the less likely you are to run into somebody else. Apple's able to find a knock there. We saw it for just a moment, but it looked like the elimination hasn't come through quite yet, so it may have been a long-distance elimination, or maybe some building got in the way. But these teams are really coming down to the wire. The circle slowly but surely coming to a close, and a health pack clutch coming through here from Ramex Fan and Sky Big Brody. It looks like they're going to be able to sub it out here for the cabbage, but they're going to, that might come back to bite them at the end of the day. They really might need that health pack later on down the road, and they're going for that material farming, and they've got themselves, almost up to full wood and metal. So if they need to bunker down coming up in these final circles, that's going to be a great look for them.
The only thing they're right now missing is brick, but still, at least from the player that we're looking at. Still about halfway, so still a lot of materials we'll have at the end. Again, it comes down to shields. They don't have full shields right now. They both have more, or at least around 50, but that extra, at least we're looking at the player, I think they're missing about 29 shield right now. That can be the biggest difference maker. That could be the difference between surviving a headshot from a shotgun and not surviving it. So we'll see if they're able to find something later on, maybe a chug splash here or there just to keep them afloat. And chug splash, always great to have because you can use it instantaneously. There's no cooldown time or time to use it before you actually get that shield effect.
Yeah, the shield effect is definitely something that can come in handy at the end of the day. Even just a little bit of shields could help you survive a shotgun shot or just damage coming through from an opponent. And the chug splash, definitely an unusual item, not something that was used to be in the game. It's kind of like a grenade you throw on the ground, but instead of doing damage, it heals anybody in the vicinity. So it's a little bit of a weird item. Definitely something good to have on hand this late in the game, though.
I think that's the biggest thing, you know, you can use it on multiple people. A lot of these items are only for one person. We're going to stop that thought for just a second because this fight is starting to get going in. You see right now, they're on the edge of the circle and they're fighting two fronts right now. The team right in front of them and one to their left.
Yeah, they're definitely being pincered here, caught up with these teams, and this is where the metal is going to start coming out here. They're going to use it as fast as they can. While it takes a little bit longer to build, it also can survive a lot more damage coming out from these teams. They've got their storm to their back, one team to their left, and one team smack in front of them. A sniper rifle currently on hand and a golden scar to boot in this inventory. So the things are going to be coming out quickly here.
And Ramix fan being a great teammate, giving those minis to Big Brody, making sure that they stay nice and healthy as they go into what could possibly be the final engagement. I mean, the circle is getting smaller, and we see where the last circle is going to be. They're right on the outside of it, so eventually they're going to have to move. Once these teams start moving towards it, that's where the firefights can really break out. That's when all heck can get let loose. And you can just instantly get like shot down from someone behind you that you didn't even expect to be there. You're just so geared towards actually making it into the objective instead of who might be around you. You lose focus of actually fighting these fights.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that's something that we need to bring point on because we haven't seen them quite yet, but they've been all over the kill feed. A player by the name of Apples, I think, has found 5 eliminations with hyper aggressive coming through. They've found quite a few eliminations to boot. And now it looks like Ramix fan and the Big Brody, they're going to choose to leave their base there. They're going to go underneath the bridge. Definitely an unusual choice, but wow, a phenomenal quickscope. They're able to deal 105 damage to an opponent. Trying to put on the pressure, they're going to choose to go under the bridge, which isn't definitely not a bad call in my opinion.
It's not a bad call. It can be a bit unique. You usually want to be playing on the high ground, but yeah, they probably had an idea that there's someone really close to them, so they want to take away the bridge. The bridge, one of those items that, or one of those areas that really can't be broken down for Matt, so it will stay there no matter what. So right now they're blocking themselves and maybe just waiting for the perfect opportunity to move in. They know they have the circle. They know there's someone to their left. So right now it's, do you face the fight that's right in front of you or take out the duo or singular person that's right next to you?
Yeah, they definitely know that there's one person to their left, but they're going to choose to take the slightly more aggressive battle. And Ramix fan able to find the downed player Apples, who I was just talking about moments ago. Going to be eliminated here, not quite able to make it to this final circle. 30 seconds left until these players are forced toe to toe, shoulder to shoulder. 15 players remain in this first matchup here now, and there's really nowhere to hide for any of these folks. We see Ramix fan and Sky Big Brody putting on the damage and using this to the best of their advantage. They know they've covered most of their opportunities and most of their approaches, and now they can really control the momentum of who comes in this bridge and when.
Ramix fan got that shield taken away, almost taking out 1 health, and a dream right now still has all of that lettuce. Gotta eat your vegetables, kids. That's how you stay alive and healthy in a game like Fortnite. They tried turning to the left. That's just a fight they really can't take right now. They don't have any shields. We talked about how that would be so important later on, and here it is. You used them earlier. Now you don't have anything left. Now you're just running for your life.
Oh, yup, and they eat those vegetables just to have the health ripped from them once again, down to 57. There's no healing materials online for this team right now. Ramix fan, they are one of the players to watch out for, one of the folks we got to interview earlier on today. But now, I mean, there's only so much you can do with 57 health.
And only about, I mean, if we're doing the math right, it might be more, depending if there's some, you know, single players out there, some solo still left, but 14 alive, possibly only 7 duos left. It's so important to stay alive for at least a little bit longer and make that top 5, but now Ramix fan has been taken out. It's only Sky Big Brody to try to do something to keep their partner alive, and now that storm is about to move. 1 second, there it goes.
Yeah, RamX fan is definitely going to get eliminated here by Twitch World Fan, who we thought was on their lonesome, but it looks like J-Hammer, their partner, is still alive. So we definitely saw the one player earlier, and the second player was hiding somewhere in the shadows. They have a lot more healing to come through. They've got a full shield online, which they're going to choose to use now. Bump them up to that 75 shield health, 78 regular health. Definitely not the highest they can be, of course. 50 health lower than the maximum there, but it looks like they've got a decent loadout here. They've got an assault rifle, a sniper rifle, and a shotgun. Now they're going to really have to put the pressure on because Big Brody's still hiding somewhere out there.
Absolutely. I'm not sure if they're aware of how much health Big Brody has, but they had less than 150, so they're able to find them out, maybe able to take 2 different angles. They should be able to win that fight, but again, that circle, 11 seconds until it starts closing or moving again, so they got to be paying attention to that objective. They can't be too involved with this fight. The grenades being thrown in. Now they're going to have to make some quick moves. The builds are going to be enough to keep them alive, and well, this is back and forth, even though Brody is right now on their own. They're doing a great job of, staying alive and being able to put some fire back into the enemy.
Yeah, absolutely. And something to take of note, Ram was just eliminated. Both Shottle and Troster were both just in the kill feed, which means both of those players are still alive and on individual rampages, all they're lonesome. But right now, 2 of those 3 players to look out for are alive in our top 10. So now the pressure is really on. Can either of these teams secure a victory? There's going to be 4 games today. Securing a single victory puts you up 50 points, which is an incredible point differential to have going into the second game.
Absolutely. It's getting down to the wire here. As you said, only 10 remaining.
Oh, Troster down.
Troster is down. That's huge. Hasn't been killed just yet. Yeah, Big Brody just got a kill too, so Morlosa being taken out there, so they might have secured a spot for themselves in that top 5, even though they are a solo player right now. That's huge. Even though it's only 5 points, everything counts, especially as you keep going later and later. As a reminder for those of you who might be just joining us or weren't there to hear it earlier, there are 4 total games to be played today in this series before we determine our first through 3rd place finishers. So this is just the first one. There's still a lot more action, but you see the enemy right there. They know there's someone there. Can World find it out? Yes, they can, and they get the kill.
Yep, and it looks like that was Big Brody there. That 105 damage to the dome. Definitely a good look for this team, but now World Fan falling critically low. They just gave the health pack to their partner, J-Hammer, as well, and they don't have one to boot unless J-Hammer didn't use it, but I don't really know how else his health would have gone up. The instant replay there, you can literally see him dropping the health pack, and now he's down to 28 health, has to brave it through the storm, and I'm not sure he's going to make it out. No! The grenade does not work quite like he wants it to, and Sky Big Brody gets the elimination, which just absolutely phenomenal look for them. Definite good thing. And Dark Knight still alive, able to pick up purple with a double knock and elimination. Now we see this player here, Shottle, going for that strategy of just healing up, using that fish when they get the chance to. But now we're down to 5 people, no circle left. It's going to come down to who's got the healing.
It looks like
it's
this
not going to be Shottle.
Yeah, it's not going to be Shottle.
Oh, and with that, just barely J-Hammer. Oh, that was their plan all along. We see now why the health pack was given to this player, J-Hammer, with the healing. A bit of a cheap strat, in my opinion, but it's a strat that wins them the first round nonetheless.
I think as a viewer, you're thinking, oh man, I really want to see this battle go down to the wire. I really want to see them fight it out before that circle closes all the way. Instead, that's not what you see. You just see great strategic play here, and unfortunately, it's not, the most exciting play, but I mean, these are 2 players that weren't even mentioned before, and they're already starting it off with that first place finish. So it's really exciting to see that there might be some new blood coming in here, some new players that we weren't aware of before that are going to be taking the lead, at least at the get-go. So that's 50 points for them starting off the GameSync Synchronicity Fortnite Duos tournament here today. So great play from them. Great way to start this off.
Yeah, the heal off, definitely not the climactic ending that everybody wants to see, but it gets to a point in Fortnite where that has to be the eventuality, and that will have to be how that first game ends. A phenomenal look from these teams so far, and like I mentioned already, Troster and Shottle both made it to, I think, final 5 players. I'm not sure Troster made it quite that far, but Shottle came in 2nd place there. So, I mean, that's definitely something to keep in mind, is that this player is not here to mess around, and they are that name that we have heard so many times before tonight.
Yeah, we do know they were all over the kill feed during the game as well. So even though they're not going to get that 50 points for finishing first, they're still going to get the 2nd place finish. They're still going to get those points for getting those kills earlier on. So I'm sure they'll probably be somewhere in the top 5, at least for now. We'll see if they can either rise up or, if they end up going down later into the pack as we continue on in these games. We got one more on the West server here today. So that's still going to be favoring, our friends that are in the California region as well as elsewhere on the West Coast. So we'll see, if things are swapped up once we get out of there. But for now, we're going to be staying here in Cali.
Yeah, we're going to be hanging out in Cali on that West Coast, something I am incredibly unfamiliar with as I am that East Coaster. But we see that, like we said, there's going to be 4 games tonight, only 2 of them coming out from Jag and myself. Up next is going to be Keg and Dwarf, bringing you the final 2 of the East Coast games. And they are East Coast casters as well, at least as far as I'm concerned. I think I'm right on that. But if I'm not, you'll be seeing them in just a little bit. We've got one more game coming up for you. We're getting the whole lobby reset, and there's a lot to look out for. But I mean, the names that I saw in the kill feed the most were, it was something like Dark Knight, there was Apple.zzz, and there was just Shottle. And those were the 3 players that were continuously in that kill feed.
Yeah, and like we said, I mean, we expected that a lot of team or duos would be playing for the finish, as opposed to getting those kills at the very get-go at least, but still getting those kills early on, I mean, that's still a great momentum booster for you. You feel confident in your game abilities. I mean, being able to be accurate is so important, as well as, being a good builder in this game, but being able to hit those shots, especially at a distance, those firefights can be really intense at the very beginning. So if you can win those early out, get your enemies loot, it is gives you such an advantage from the beginning. We saw, especially in that last circle, that because of those fights that kind of happened in close quarters, a lot of teams, they didn't have the heals necessary to survive until the very end. So maybe teams will consider building up more heals and shields to just kind of store until late game. We'll see how they decide to play it as we get into our second one in just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think something that I noticed just as a whole is there wasn't a lot of healing from these players at all. I didn't see a lot of health packs dropped on elimination. I didn't see any bandages dropped on eliminations. It was just unique that we did not see the amount of healing you'd normally see in a game of Fortnite. A lot of these players maybe came out a little bit more bloodthirsty than we expected.
It seems like they preferred to have weapons over any, sort of utility. So, whether it's a grenade or a gun or a trap, it seems like they really wanted to get some damage done instead of trying to, keep themselves alive, keep themselves sustained. And I mean, there are things you'll find throughout the map, obviously, like the fish, as well as some of the, food that you'll find that can kill you or give you shields, but it's not as reliable. A lot of the time, you're going to have to really go like looking for it, and it doesn't do as much instantaneously. So it can be a bit of a gamble. We saw, that I think there was a 12 stack of lettuce that we saw at one point, and sure, they were able to stay alive a bit longer, but they didn't have any shield to follow it up with. So even though they got to 100 health, 0 shield, you still get melted, especially against guns like a gold AR.
Yeah, the gold AR is just a lethal weapon. I mean, it is just a brutal gun, and it's something that has been in the game as long as the game has been around. It's just a weapon that everybody knows and loves. And we saw a couple of unique weapons as well. That Dragon's Breath shotgun, we saw that get used, I think, only one time, but it did secure an elimination on that single use. And that's just another weapon that, if you didn't have shields, you're not going to survive a single shot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of tactical shotgun. I know that one of the players interviewed earlier very sad about the pump being gone. Honestly, personally, I'm like, whatever. Tactical is the way to go anyway. One thing I'm surprised about was we didn't really see any SMGs. I feel like there were no submarine or submachine guns at all. Not silenced or just regular.
Definitely just not a lot of usage and anything that wasn't a sniper rifle or a shotgun. We saw a couple of AR usages, but we saw a lot of reliability on the sniper rifle, which you really realistically only see in the competitive scene. A lot of casual players aren't going to trust their random aim at a sniper rifle, but these folks, I mean, they are practiced, they are hardened, they know how to play this game, and it's something that is really starting to show. Last time I cast this with a friend of mine, Big Hungry Phil, we were talking about what is the meta for Fortnite, and then we really came to the conclusion that this game is unique in the fact that there really isn't one in terms of what you carry on you. In terms of building, you often see some kind of meta with the double ramp way back when, or the turtling as of recently, and it's just something that you see in terms of building. But when it comes to what you carry on you, that really comes down to personal preference.
And I think you see that in a lot of battle royales, honestly. I think the gunplay is kind of second to, strategy, and especially in Fortnite building. I think in other ones, just to name drop, like Warzone, for example, sure, there are guns you can prefer, but it's never going to be about that. It's always going to be about what utility you have, as well as your rotations here. Rotations also very important, especially as you avoid the storm, but building on top of your opponents, making sure that you kind of can collapse on them, or at least that you have a way out if you're in a non-winning situation, is the way to play this game. We've talked about fight and flight. It's so important. You got to know when to engage on an enemy, and sometimes when to just call it a day, take your wounds, go somewhere else, and heal up.
Yeah, absolutely. Fight or flight, and it's okay if you choose flight, because if you choose fight, you might end up dying. That's something that really, at the end of the day, it comes down to is fight or flight. You've got to know when to activate which. When it comes down to instinct, you've got to have that player ability and that understanding of the game as I've got to go or I'm not going to go any further. And that's something that a lot of players may not have. They may want to be a little bit flashy. They may want to put on a show for the people watching at home or for the casters watching. But if you want to win these, if you want to survive, you've got to know when to pull your punches.
Yeah, I mean, we always love a good show, Sep. So thanks to all these
Always.
players who are putting on a good one for us so far. And you could think about like the reboot, the revive. It's not always going to be available. We thought that one player earlier on didn't get the card. They ended up getting it, so they were able to revive their partner. But if you're too late or if you're not able to find that reboot van in time, then you're just going to be, soloing it. Or, maybe you end up falling because you take on a 1v2 that you weren't expecting or, just weren't wanting to take. But then you're forced into it anyway because the enemy team is not going to let you get away. So now we go again to the drop. We'll be back with it in a second after it happens. And I think the biggest thing we saw is, obviously this lobby is not full. So there's a lot less players on the map. But still, at the very get-go, there were virtually no kills that came out.
Yeah, no, I noticed that as well. As it really did take a decent while for us to find eliminations or find kills that these players were really looking out for. It's not something you expected to see early on, but especially with a low lobby and a full map, I mean, they've got plenty of time to get their bearings amongst them, so to speak. And something I want to point out, we saw them in the battle bus for just a moment. I saw lots of people thank the bus drivers, so shout out for that. Very important thing to do in the game and in real life.
Absolutely. Be sure to press B for your bus driver. I don't remember what it is on console anymore. I've been playing on PC for so long now, but be sure to do that. As well as, just be nice to your competitors because we're all here for a fun time here at the GameSync Synchronicity Fortnite duos. And so far, we've just seen a lot of respect between competitors. You saw that especially in those interviews, but now we'll see if there's going to be any players moving up in the world in the standings. And I gotta say, I love that skin that you just saw. There's Twitch Prime drop back in the day. Oh, one of my favorite ones in the game, the one we saw previously on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're looking at BTW 8 and BTW 2. So by the way, 2 and 8 here, they're going to be all the way on the farthest point of the map on these islands here. And that tells me they're probably going to be a decent while away from anybody else. There's an SMG, which we did not see for a decent while. And we're in that part in the game where you pretty much just pick up anything that's handed to you because your inventory is completely empty when you start. So now it's great to find even a single weapon to secure a fight or help you at least scare off an enemy, if not find an early elimination.
Absolutely. You just grab whatever you can. In this situation, you don't have to worry about any opponents being here, but especially when there's someone right on your tail, you're just going to grab whatever it is, regardless if it's like a tactical assault rifle, just a regular assault rifle, heavy assault rifle, whatever you can get your hands on. You just want to have something to fight with. You don't want to be stuck with just your pickaxe. I mean, sure, it does damage, and it's very entertaining when you see the pickaxe on Pixox fights break out, but realistically, you're not going to see that. But it looks like we're going to see some plays coming out. Anonymous already opened things up.
Sky Big Brody went down. Not only went down, was eliminated already. So that leaves Ramex completely on his own this early. No, he's gone as well. There's an elimination. Sir Ender able to find both of them very quickly off. They're one of the first teams eliminated.
Yeah, that is a big play right there. Seeing one of those big fish being taken out of the sea early on, just like you're seeing right now with this fishing. And that changes the whole course of the game. You can feel a little bit more free with your play because you're like, hey, this team that's one that I wouldn't want to get involved with, wouldn't want to run into, they're gone. So now maybe we can take a few more chances, try to get some elims on our own and continue to get on the board. We'll see if this team in particular does that. Right now we've got player, by the way, 8 and player, by the way, 2, which I believe was anonymous. Not sure if their name wasn't working last time around, but I believe that is the team that we saw a lot of in the first matchup. So we're going to be continuing to watch them throughout this one.
Yeah, a weird look for sure. I noticed that as well, but I wasn't completely sure on it. But now that we've both noticed it, I think that is exactly what happened. The name maybe didn't work out. Yeah, it's a guesstimate. We've been wrong before. We'll be wrong again. But on this, I think we may be correct. Now they're going to hang out on the boat on the ocean, and they've got the time to do it. They're in the first circle, and I don't think anybody's going to be out here for a fat minute, really. I think they're going to be on their lonesome for quite a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, they're going to be going fishing. And we talked about how important it is to get these, consumables early on. And the fish, it's kind of a risk versus reward, especially if you're able to find one of the better fishing rods. There is a scale to them. Right now, we see they have one of the worser ones in the game. I think there's only I think it's just like the gray or the blue. I'm not sure if there is a green one, but right now they're going to be trying to find something. They do find a jellyfish early on, so at least they're able to get one of the more rare fish you can find. But it's a completely different ball game, right? I mean, there's so many things they've added to Fortnite when it comes to vehicles, when it comes to fishing.
Oh,
Like,
when it
we
comes to
build it-
sniper rifles,
we grab a gun out of the ocean, that's something that's usually there.
you know,
Remember, kids,
Fortnite.
recycle. Don't throw your sniper rifles into the ocean.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that we can talk about now. Is Fortnite just a whole new game compared to what it used to be? This game used to be much simpler in terms of the map was very simple and very boring. There were no boats, there was no fishing, there was not even. I mean, there was 3 types of guns for a long time, but they really have gone on and added quite a lot. Snipes Jungle and Sea Army are both really putting on a show. I think Sea Army, that may have been, I think, their 4th elimination coming out already. We see Pike and Filth, so Wuspect able to knock down Pike, and Wuspect able to find the elimination onto Filth. So Wuspect's partner's still alive. We spent a lot of time with him and Pike last game. It looks like they're both still alive, at least for the time being. Pike did go down, but was not eliminated quite yet.
See if we do catch up with them later, but for now we're gonna be sticking with the fishing crew. And I mean, this is just it's not the most entertaining gameplay by any means because they're not really in the middle of the fight, but yeah, there goes Pike. So I think they are now fully eliminated. So I think that is gonna be the end to their second matchup of the day. But think about the resources they're gonna have later on. I am a bit worried because they don't really have guns. I mean, you see right now, Player by the way 8 only has a sniper rifle and only has 7 ammo to boot on that. So that might, bite them a little bit in the keister later on if they aren't able to find anything else. I'm sure that at some point they're going to start looking for guns because you can only go fishing for so long.
Right, fishing for weapons, definitely a high risk, high reward scenario in terms of you want to try to farm these good weapons early on and nobody else is really going to be looking for them. But I mean, are they at least going to pick up the SMG before they keep moving? Yeah, okay, it looks like they're going to be able to do that. That's definitely their best call. Leaving the pistol behind, also a good call. They've got 4 fish to heal up later on. So maybe not eating your vegetables, but make sure you've got a healthy diet here consisting of green and orange fish and some cabbage that you found on someone's farm. But other than that, they're really just looking to find some ammo early on and a med kit. That's going to be huge for them. Probably replace the bandages and they might keep them. No, instead chooses to replace the SMG, which is going to give them only a sniper rifle, and they go for a trick shot onto no one, which leaves them with 6 heavy ammo. This is definitely a unique duo to be watching right now.
You gotta remember, you can put that boat on land for a little bit. It'll slowly take away its health, but as you still see, still 753, so still a pretty good amount. And now you're seeing they're gonna try to move forward. They're gonna try to get closer into the map. You see right now, looks like Shottle doing Shottle things, finding a shotgun. I think that was just a down. I'm not sure if that was an elim just yet, but at least finding one person down right now. So we're gonna see Shottle on the kill feed once again, which isn't surprising at all. And it looks like we're going back to fishing once more.
For a brief moment, we saw Shottle doing Shottle things with the shotty, but right now we are back to these teams, back to this fishing, and honestly, at this point, I hope they catch some kind of gun because their luck has been abysmal in terms of finding a weapon. They've got more fish than anybody can ask for, but they're going to need something other than a sniper rifle. For a med kit.
I mean, they could have replaced the band-aids, right? There was a lot of things that they could have gotten rid of in their inventory. They could have gotten rid of maybe one of the stacks of fish or something like that. We don't know what by the way 2 has, so maybe they picked up the SMG, so maybe there's at least a little bit more firepower. But for all we know, all they have is that sniper, and if they aren't able to hit those shots right away, it's gonna be very disastrous for them. But for now, the coast is clear as they can just peacefully go for that fishing rod on the water.
Yeah, and what it looks like these players may be going for a heal-off strategy. They might be farming as much. Oh, there's finally a weapon. Do they choose to take it? Yes, they are going to choose to take it there, and they're now going to sub out a fish for the fishing rod once again. So they've got 2 semi-long-distance items and nothing else.
The lever-action rifle. I would not say it's the most popular gun in the game because it's semi-auto. I think that really in Fortnite, you really want to see those automatic weapons come out from you early, and now we're going to see them try to take over the taxi set. Is there anything you saw there?
Nothing of note. I just see that they're going to hop into the taxi there. And we did see for a brief moment that Wuspect was alive, but unfortunately did just fall to the storm. So that will bring a close to that duo's end there. Definitely an unfortunate way to go, but at least they survived a couple of teams. And now they're going for that mega pyramid strat that I haven't seen in quite a few seasons. They're going to have that wrapped around a shield there. And gotta wonder what that was for because they're both full health, full shield. So definitely an unusual thing to just bust out.
Potentially they're trying to create a trap where someone goes for that full shield potion, but it doesn't look like they're going to stick around. So maybe just trying to get rid of the shield potion so someone else can have it. I feel like if anything, that's kind of like a big neon sign saying, hey, there's something's
in here.
Yeah, but now they're going to finally find someone. The shot just missing by inches. The sniper rifle is projectile. It is not hit scan. So you got to aim for where you think they're going to be, not where they currently are. And you see there just few hairs off that player's head that they were aiming for. And now we might see some action for the first time in this second matchup.
Troster just able to find a knockdown in that kill feed there a moment ago. Can they find a couple more kills than last time? They didn't have a great look. We're going to go into Pleasant Park, a map lots of folks I'm sure are familiar with. Not quite the Pleasant Park we've known and loved, but it's younger, just as cool, brother, at most. It's a slightly modified version, but overall it is all the same. And Shottle, once again, doing Shottle things with that shotgun in the kill feed. Just kill after kill here. They see a car coming through. Are they going to go for the shot? No, the teammate now being pressured. So whichever player we have here trying to put the pressure down. Here come massive builds out quickly. They've been spotted, and this team is coming in hot.
And they're
Wait, no, I'm sorry.
Split. Oh,
I'm sorry, this team not caring about them at all.
Yeah, it looks like they just went for a play to teleport instead, trying to go for the rift, but there is another team right there in another car. And again, these teammates right now, by the way, A and by the way, too, they are split. So you see this off angle that, by the way, 8 is taking. They're not hitting the shots. This might not pay off in the long run. Their partner might be found out and down pretty soon.
Yeah, they've got 9 shots left. We're watching, by the way, 8, and they're just trying to find any kind of damage, any kind of value off the back of this, but they haven't hit a shot quite yet. So definitely an unfortunate look. They try to shoot up one more, but they look like the enemy team may know they're there or just doing a great job covering their angles, because so far they've had 2 opportunities, missed both of them, and now this team is not allowing a third.
Absolutely. There are some players dropping from the sky, the grenades being thrown in onto this base. And by the way, too, it looks like they've rotated all the way back. So they are together. They are full strength. And it's just amazing. You know, these shots are still coming in. And I think that's the first time that the team they're facing realized there's someone to the other side of them throughout this battle. And now this third party is going to come in.
Yeah, the awareness of some of these teams so far has not quite been what you'd expect from this competitive Fortnite scene. And TTV player, by the way, 8 and by the way 2 are doing a great job taking advantage of that fact. They snuck up all the way on this team. And something I need to note, I need to correct the both of us at this point. I think Pike and their partner are both alive, as I've seen them both in the kill feed twice since we thought they have died. So I think they are just barely still kicking. Oh no, and as I say it, Pike was lost in the storm. So there you go. Caster's curse on that one. I'm not sure if that was an official kill.
They may have just been knocked. Every time we mention Pike. Yeah, they end up getting...
Poor Pike, man. We're trying to show some love, but we are just caster cursing them to the moon and back. But unfortunately, we're going to have to hang out with, by the way, 8 and 2. Oh, 114 to the dome, but the knock coming out from Anonymous a little bit faster. By the way, 2 able to find that redemption shot. Kiss Anonymous goodbye there. And now, by the way, 8 bleeding out. No! Another shotgun from our second Anonymous player. The by the ways have been pushed to the wayside, and that's going to be a great elimination coming through very quickly. Anonymous 333 now putting in more work. There's a third party coming in hot. They're going for this turtle strategy. The walls coming in down to 50 health, and they find the elimination onto the opponent. Able to shotgun mini JBR, and Shottle now being taken out by Sea Army as well.
We'll see if they end up getting killed completely. It doesn't look like they're eliminated just yet. We see that instant replay in the corner. Great play. Now this player, Anonymous 333, they have the golden AR. They have a great gun. It's got great range. It's got great damage. Using the med kit right here. And it looks like they got the card of their partner, so they might be able to try to go for that reboot. Not sure if there are any vans in the immediate area, and I think that's kind of confirmed by the fact that they decided to use that chug splash on themselves instead of saving it for their partner later on. But there also might be someone right underneath them. It looks like they're trying to just bounce out of there, and there they go flying.
That's one way to do it. Anonymous sending themselves sky high here. They go to land in the tree. They don't take any damage, which is a great look for them. And now they can make their way back into Pleasant Park. 14 players remain, which, of course, in a perfect world is 7 teams. But I know that we've got a couple of solos running around, Anonymous here being one of them. Possibly looking for the res here. They've definitely got the card online.
Yeah, there's the van right there. It looks like they're just trying to hunker down. They're going to put the window in, try to get it right through it. And there you go. That van's going to be making a lot of noise. And as you see now, the shots coming through, it's basically a come here and shoot me kind of noise because it's so loud. It's very rambunctious.
Oh, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. We see they're coming out quick, and they're just going to be, like you said, it's the come out and shoot me, and somebody in the distance is definitely listening. They are calling for the shots, and Anonymous, again, going to go for this resurrection. If you stop for even a second, the resurrection stops completely. You've got to start from the top. So now this player desperately trying to bring their teammate back to life, but the pressure is being put on. Going for that turtling strat with the metal, and it's definitely something that's not comfortable to see this early on. Usually when you've got this much room left, they stick with the wood instead. But the pressure coming out quick, 84 to the dome, but it's going to be 2. Looks like they've got the Soccer and the Dragon Breath shotgun coming through, down to 7 health. They are most likely going to be eliminated here. It's going to be a 2v1. Anonymous 333 was able to knock Troaster, actually, so we know this is Troaster's duo coming in hot here, trying to put in the work. They're back up to 87 health thanks to these fish. Now the pressure is on once again. 60 damage onto the teammate. This could be it for Troaster already. There's still 14 people left coming in quickly, but no, the shotgun kill finally comes through. OG Purple able to take out Anonymous 333 and Troaster on the edge of his life.
Yeah, there's really no heals. They have bandages online right now, but do they have anything else? They see they're just trying to get their teammate up. They've got the matching soccer jerseys. Can they both stay alive? I think they were being shot at from someone in the distance. It looks like for now they are going to be safe. And I want to go back to that attempted reboot play. I think one of the biggest problems, yeah, they're using the steel as a way to, keep themselves safe. It's stronger. They can hide within that structure, but it never properly set up. They didn't give it enough time for it to completely be there. It was still in the process of being built, which is why it was destroyed so easily. And now that Dragonfire shotgun to be taking the spot of what was formerly the blue tactical shotgun, and we saw it. It was able to get one knockdown on this team, on a Troaster's partner, but now they're going to see what they can do, and they're going to have that golden AR once again, one of the most powerful guns in the game.
One of the most powerful guns in the game, especially if you can hit your shots. I mean, that thing does damage in the blink of an eye. And right now, they've definitely got an unusual loadout. I think we're watching... Yeah, okay, we are watching OG Purple, who did find that elimination onto Anonymous 333 there. We see... They've got, a kind of a weird strat. They've also got the harpoon guns. Maybe if they want to get a little more hyper-aggressive, they can utilize that to pull a player in. And nope, so it looks like they're going to be separated already. Troaster off to the side, and now somebody putting the pressure onto the both of them, duo versus duo. And here comes OG Purple trying to get the builds, but unable to do so, getting built right on top of Troaster now below. They're going to use that Rift Fish to just get out of there, get out of dodge. And like we said, fight or flight, sometimes it comes down to flight, and that's A-okay because you get to live another day.
Yeah, and Pleasant Park no longer is in the circle, also, as you mentioned earlier. One of the OG locations, though, it's been a little bit remodeled, a little bit remixed is one way to say it. But you see, they are being followed. There's a squad right on their tail. I think there's another duo actually right to their right. So now they're going to be sharing some resources. Those mini shield potions are going to be going the way of Purple. So they're both going to be at 50 shield. Looks like actually you're going to see that Troaster had some other utility on them, so they're going to have a full shield, but not full health. So neither of them going to be at 200, but they did just find these chug barrels. So
that's
just as I say it, yeah, it's huge. They are out of healing resources for the most part. All they have is those bandages, which are not effective if you're above 75 health.
Yeah, they will not heal you above 75 health, and they don't add anything to your shield. So they're definitely good if you take a little bit more damage, but this late in the game, technically 6 teams remain. I'm sure we've got probably 2 solos running around here at least. But now, I mean, 6 teams left. You've almost made it to that top 5. You've got to outlive one more team, and Troaster and Purple, they really need these points to start adding up because Troaster did not make it as far as he wanted to last time. I think Shottle's already gone, and we know that Ram was one of the first teams eliminated.
Yep, it's always those top players. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. You can, just see like how players play differently in a lobby when they know those big threats are not going to be there. We'll see if Troaster can bring home the W here in match 2 out of 4. First one already won by not any of the top 3 that we had mentioned previously, so it was a bit of a surprise win there. Not sure how that team is doing so far, but now you're seeing here are the forts being built. Looks like there's one to the left, one straight in front of them. We could see a bit of a firefight here at the end instead of just going for that heal when we saw last time.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a heal off this time. There's nowhere to really hide the same way there was on that last map. If you bunker up, everybody's going to see you. All the remaining 11 players will know your location. And now we're looking at a 2v2v2v2. We see 4 teams of 2 here really building up and bunkering themselves down. One of them slightly off in the distance, but Troaster and Purple, they're staring 2 teams down. I mean, face to face, they've got the matching jerseys on, and they're going to drop some materials here. We see Purple, I mean, they've still got maximum brick here.
Absolutely, and that can be a big difference maker later on. You see right now, they're not really committing to building too far forward. They have the circle really close to them. They will have to move, so that's the biggest thing. They're going to have to rotate at some point. What do you do for that? Do you try to just build a wall? Do you just try to like tunnel through it? Do you just try to take it as a risk and just run out in the open? I doubt that's what they're going to do, but they're going to have to make some money moves here because they know that they're in no man's land currently. You see right now, it looks like they're going to build up that wall to try to get there. Actually, they're going to use that trap just to jump down, get that extra momentum.
Around the very same.
Yep, and now they're going to build up.
Yeah, they're going to have to build up. They're going to have to bunker down fast. They're going to have to build something because they've got people coming in every single direction. They put themselves smack in the middle of 3 other teams. They're going to choose wood and brick to build at the start, and they've given up the high ground to do so. In my opinion, Purple and Troaster have put themselves in quite the rough position.
The question is, how big can you make this build, though? If you can like really expand it, then you can keep pushing up. Eventually, you're ready to try to retake that high ground, or maybe you just hope the circle will be in your favor. You're at the edge of it right now, so there are some odds that you could end up being perfectly located, and that high ground means nothing. As you see, Snipes Jungle gonna be knocking out Selfie Flash, so they know there is a battle going on elsewhere that they don't need to be a part of just yet.
Yeah, Stealthy Flash, the name definitely living up to the player here. We hadn't even seen them yet, and they have snuck their way into the top 6 teams already. Make it top 5 teams. The Stealthy Flash and Stealth Powers are going to be eliminated there. We've got 5 teams left. The damage coming out quick from Purple and Troaster trying to find an elimination, but they're going to bunker right back up underneath this pyramid. Purple, they've really got themselves kind of stuck in a corner here. Yeah, they're going to take the damage for it. They had nowhere to run. All they had was that triangle above them, down to 30 health. Troaster taking a wee bit of damage, but not a whole lot. And boom, there's the knock from Sea Army, a player lighting up the kill feed today. Do they go for the resurrection? Because now everybody knows this player is down.
They didn't have the heals. All they had were 2 band-aids. They didn't wall it off. You gotta always cover your angles. You can never be too careful, and that's a great play with that green. But they're actually gonna be right in there. Yeah, I thought that might have been the move. That might have been an abandoned structure, but that is gonna be the end of their day. And Sea Army and Snipes Jungle, we've seen their names up here in the kill feed. That's where we're gonna be spectating for the time being now, and it's getting down to the wire. Only 9 players left, and that Snipe just barely missing.
Absolutely. We're seeing Benji Fishy in the kill feed as well, and I'm not sure if that's the same World Cup player or if it's just a similar name. But
I believe it is. They have NRG in their tag.
Yeah, then that really is a player to watch out for, so I'm not the least bit surprised that they've been putting in the work. We've seen them play on one of the biggest screens in the world, and right now the damage coming out from Sea Army and Snipes Jungle is putting this great player in a very difficult position. I don't think any of our top dogs are any longer alive. Troaster and Shottle are gone, and Ram was one of the first teams eliminated. So now it's really going to come down to who wants to make a name for themselves right here, right now. The high ground being retaken by both these teams, and it's going to be a build battle to the height limit once again. The break coming out, and now we see Sea Army. I believe we're watching Snipes Jungle. I don't remember which, but either way, which of these players that we're watching at them, well, we see they are already down to metal. They have no other materials under their belt here. And yeah, this is Sea Army. So now they've really got to find the damage quickly because they're running out of room to build and they're running out of materials to build with.
The trick I learned, Sepsilence, is whoever's on top is the person who's currently being spectated. I made that mistake a few times, but now Sea Army, they're actually going to drop off the high ground, which I'm a bit surprised about. It seems like they were at a good location up there, just kind of on even footing, but now they are down below. They're going to have to give up some consumables to Snipes Jungle, who took a bit of damage on the way down. And look at this, the spam now. This is exactly why you don't want to give up the high ground. You don't have to know exactly where the enemy team is. If you know they're in a certain area, you're just going to fire away, especially if you have all that ammunition saved up from earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is kind of a mistake for several reasons. Had they dropped and dug themselves burrowed further into this massive structure, I think that could have been great for them. But all they did was drop to the bottom and then put a single platform between them and their opponents. So definitely an unusual strategy. Snipes Jungle already down back to 0 shields, but it looks like they're going to be able to live another day. I'm not sure they got a knock on that person, but I don't know where else they would have gone. Benji Fishy able to find Studlow now with the rifle, able to find the knockout. 1 NRG takes out 1 TTV, and the difference in the names goes to show Benji Fishy not a person to mess around with. 6 players left, down to technically our final 3 teams. There may be 2 solos wrapped up in here. I'm honestly not quite sure. We know there's these 2 duos. There may be a 3rd wrapped up in here somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, between you and me, this is really interesting because, you know, we literally just watched a World Cup video before this to get prepared.
Right.
And Benji Fishy was in it, so it's pretty cool to see him in the middle of this. We said this might not be a heal off, but that actually might be what it ends up being. They have 1 medkit at least for Sea Army. Now they're gonna drop again. They found someone out. They know there's someone behind that wall. Yeah, can they get the kill? They're trying to break it down. They finally do.
Oh, and it's gonna be on. I can't see the name quite yet, but we see the damage coming. Oh, it's Troaster. I thought Troaster had died a very long time ago, but no, somehow the player did remain. Going to be found out at the very bottom of the build. Here comes another knock from Snipes onto Mikey there, and now Snipes Jungle and Sea Army, they are racking up the kills. There's them and one other team left. I believe it's Benji Fishy, who's still alive. I know that he hasn't gone down yet, so it's possibly going to be that duo, if not just 2 solos here.
Could be a 2v2. It could be a 2v1v1. You know, there's at least 1 duo left, as you said. Snipes Jungle versus Sea Army, but both of them are so weak.
They've got the medkits, though.
They do have the medkits, but do they have the time? The storm is coming in. Only 18 seconds left.
Oh, no.
They're going to be playing all the way at the bottom of it.
Snipes jungle, I think, goes down no matter what here. Benji Fishy able to find Dark Knight. Dark Knight somehow made it to the very end once again. Benji Fishy now, it's going to be a 2v1, but Benji Fishy, the NRG player, I mean, that's going to be something to look out for. We see the elimination onto Snipes jungle come through, and Benji Fishy may have secured a victory here. 5 seconds left for them to fall, but it looks like no. It looks like we may be able to see it's going to come down to C Army versus Benji Fishy. The healing coming out quickly between these players. The Fish finally coming in clutch, and it looks like C Army may be able to clutch out this win. Benji Fishy must have some healing of their own, or they would have fallen a very long time ago. Do they? Oh, and there it is. The heal off once again. Benji Fishy lost in the storm, and C Army with the Fish we commented on so many times, and those Fish are the very reason they're able to secure this second game victory.
I believe this is a different team than the one we were following at the beginning, correct?
Yes.
But regardless, yeah, those Fish,
The
difference
Fish.
maker at the end. I mean, that's one of the biggest things, you know, that instantaneous healing versus the med kit, which takes a bit longer. I think it's about 10 seconds. You got to wait. So it's a big risk. Bandages also take a little bit of time for those Fish. Just, you know, you eat one, immediately you get that health back, as in you saw. I don't think they fell below like 40 after they started using them. So just had a whole stack of them. You saw that their partners sacrificed themselves for the cause and the heal off. A bit more exciting this time than the last one. It came down to the wire, and well, what a finish we saw at the end of our second matchup here at the GameSync Synchronicity Fortnite duos. And don't forget to be joining the GameSync Discord if you're not in it already. It's just discord.gg/GameSync. It's going to be a lot of tournaments in the future that Septilence and I have talked about a lot already, but Fortnite and Valorant on the docket later on. But we're not done here tonight, or, you know, the games aren't, but you and I, we're coming to a close soon.
Yeah, we sure are. I could not have said it better. We're only casting these 2 games for here tonight, but up next we have coming in, it's going to be, it's going to be Dwarf and Keglanek, I believe is how you pronounce his full tag, but I'm not completely sure. They're going to be coming in right after us here. And I mean, as you guys saw, there's so much more Fortnite left to be played. This has been very intense. And I mean, huge shout out to Tropster, who hid his way to the top, I think 4 teams, and secured a free 10 points to a team that we thought had been eliminated so much earlier on. So great shout on that. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. If you like what you saw, you can find me on Twitter at Septilence.
You can find me on Twitter at JagCass.
And I think our names are on screen for you guys. So definitely give us a check out there, and give out all these social medias a check out over here as well. They're all listed below. We're not going to bring them up again. Thank you so much for having us today, everybody. We hope to see you again in the near future. But for the time being, it's going to be Septilence and Jag signing off. Have a great night.
Are we good to speak? Are we muted?
we didn't decide who was going to start this off, but hello, my name is Keg, and join with me is the magnificently awesome Dwarf. How's it going?
Thank you. Yes, my name's Dwarf. I'm going to be helping us out for casting tonight. It is so nice to be here, taking over the small baton from the first two excellent games. Let's just review a little bit. What is happening tonight? What's going down, and what's at stake here?
There's a lot at stake, Dwarf. It's there, a lot of players, a lot of younger ones coming in, really showing off what they can do, and some of them for the very first time. Of course, from the interviews we had before, there are some who have been around for a little while and are real demons, it seems, in the scene for these games, but have they been able to win? That's the million-dollar question, and as I go into the Netherwell, the answer is surprisingly sometimes not quite what you think.
Yeah, the Sea Army Cool had come into the second round, racking up 8 kills during that entire round. It was kind of ridiculous. He showed out of nowhere. Apparently, he was participating in the World Cup, and now he's in this tournament, showing us how to play Fortnite, how to absolutely destroy people, take advantage of someone's well-earned fish at the beginning of the match. Come on, like I worked hard for that, and now you're gonna take it away like you're some tax man.
Ah, taxes. I mean, come on. We can't escape them anywhere, whether it be April or even in Fortnite. I was really hoping to see some golden guns or something crazy come out of that lake, but no, all we saw were actual fish. At least they did kind of, help out in the later game. And by a little bit, I mean probably the bare minimum of helping.
Yeah, they just helped out the enemy. So there is a little bit of strategy. When you're coming into the Fortnite game, you have to think, what resources am I giving to my enemies in this case? Important to mention that the way that we're scoring this competition values kills higher than wins. So you're going to be wanting to playing a little aggressively. While I wasn't the caster for the first match, I would have been mentioning how deciding to play that kind of scared and tactical hiding away is not very good idea for trying to look for a win here in terms of points.
Oh, absolutely. Even our casters before mentioned it that even at the very end of each game, they weren't heal offs that a lot of top level Fortnite games are expected to see. They did have some heal offs, sure, but it was a lot of aggressive plays because they realized exactly what was needed to go for if you want to hit that #1 spot. And that's going to be aggressive. You want to see those gunfights. We want to see those gunfights. And we're getting exactly what we want at GameSync.
Yeah, the shotgun, especially. Dragon Shotgun made
Yes.
a big turnaround in the middle point of the map because shotguns, especially for those close up, fights, people are able to walk up on each other. People just aren't aware of each other for right now. In normal Fortnite tournaments, we have around, I think it's around like 40 times 2, so around like 80.
I think that's 80.
Is it 40 or is it? Yeah, it's around 40. Teams. So like you're going to be having a larger lobby normally. So you're going to be more aware. I think a lot of these players are honestly getting set up for like there's nothing really happening. There's no one really around me. We all dropped separately. It's not as fast paced as they'd expect. They're all kind of wondering what to do. I guess I'll collect resource so I can make a giant town at the end of the map. That is what people are playing for. And I think now that we're going on to the next 2 games and we're going to have a little break, we're going to see some play maybe mix up a little bit.
I sure hope so, and it looks like we're just about ready to get into the game as well. Oh, we're on this side now. All right. But yeah, we do want to thank GameSync again for helping us be a part of this tournament and the atmosphere, and of course, allowing the players to be a part of this journey as well to see who's going to come out #1. Now, I believe as of now, the prize pool for the #1 slot is still $20. I could be mistaken there, but Dwarf, pretty sure it's still 20.
So,
But what's up?
Go ahead. The next part of this tournament is going to be all for looking for that win. There's a little bit of a donation going on if you'd like to increase that pool a little bit. I think it is still at that $20. But it is going to probably increase, and someone is going to be looking to walk away with maybe a couple McChickens at the end.
Ooh, last I checked, they were 93 cents, so that's quite a bit of them. But
93 cents? Wait.
Well, that's without lettuce, that's without mayonnaise, and that's without tomato.
You can order it without mayonnaise? That's
yeah,
illegal.
of course. No, it's not. The mayonnaise upsets my stomach, that's why I go for it.
Okay, we're gonna get
I'm
to this
pretty
later.
sure they put dairy in the mayonnaise to make it more creamy, and that's what upsets my stomach. But with that being said,
okay.
though, GameSync has been really cool in the past. In fact, if you haven't heard of them before, they're known as the Mecca of gaming since 2012. They are the first purpose built fiber esports center in San Diego with an online tournament organization that's open daily, even throughout COVID. They make sure that all those precautions are in place to make sure no one gets sick or is in harm's way, and it's working out pretty well. So if you're interested in the local San Diego area, it's always worth it to stop by.
Including also birthday parties, which are available
Yes.
at gamesync.events. You can schedule some of those and have a wonderful game-based birthday party. Not just Fortnite, you also can play Roblox, whatever game of your choosing. We'll set it up just for you. So GameSync as an organizer here is going to have more tournaments just like this, even for different games. So make sure to also join the Discord, which is going to be a lot of fun. That's way down. That's way down there.
Ooh, it's way down everywhere at this point. Oh, and it looks like we are in game now, Dwarf. It's about time we get to see what all these players can bring out. I believe now that we're on the East Coast servers, they should be different players. I could be mistaken as well, but already we see a lot of resources being found.
The ping might be favoring someone else, and if we are going to be operating on a shotgun basis, like we saw dominant in the last round, it's going to favor that playstyle as long as you're on the East Coast. Now, I can't say where each player lives or does not live, but I think people are going to be starting to make some moves playstyle-wise. Seriously, people will start planning out just in case, just for that, like the ping spikes. Certain drop locations and play styles and who you want to play against is going to be all in their mind. And who are we spectating here?
That is a very good question. I
It-
am not. Oh, we're looking at Pick right now. He's going with a trident in his name right now, and it looks like he has a pickaxe as well, fitting to his name. He's going to be on top of the snowy mountains right now, going on his way down. And you mentioned this in the pre-show as well, that getting the resources for a little bit of a slower start for a lot of these games than I think a lot of players are not used to is a really good way to really build up kind of that material economy to make sure the late game can be absolutely crazy.
Yeah, to my understanding, Fortnite actually recently edited the drops for resource. So there is going to they're trying to encourage more drop placement in the game. So a lot of these chests are giving out, pieces of wood, metal, and it's clearly helping players get that much more. People aren't looking to really try to win fights because you never know when the next guy you're going to go up against is a pro. So just board it up and figure it out once they start pushing onto you, or when the zone's in a little tiny speck and you have more fish than the other guy.
Yes, it's all about fishing here, but there's not as much fish, I would say, in the snowy mountains of the region we're looking at right now. So the fish might have to go to a different team, but the resource allocation being brought up from Pick is super important. This is going to be so good to see in the late game, and even though the guns aren't quite what we would expect, Dwarf, I'm getting really excited to see what they can bring up for the late game.
Yeah, they are doing a pretty aggressive towering strat. I'm not sure if they're getting shot at, but it looks like they might be going.
Oh, they are.
Yep, they are getting approached by another team. We are not sure who it is just yet because it doesn't. They don't even. Oh yeah, they're right above them, right on the top of the tower here. They're going to be building up even higher, just making that increased risk of fall damage just the greater, and trying to get this vertical advantage, trying to locate these players as they travel down this Tetris tower of resource. But they are still searching for these little mice that are hiding in this little tower. Oh, it looks like they've got him spotted. Pika is going into the back here, putting more shotgun shots into them, knocking them down, and they're looking for the teammate in the bottom. He's going straight into this restaurant. Nice, getting a first kill for the map, and knocking down these other players. Definitely supporting their lead in this map right now.
Ooh, out for blood right off the rip there. We saw those two top players really trying to build up as high as they could, but they realized even going as high up as they can, ascending to the clouds, isn't going to be quite the strategy if either you run out of materials or the enemies like we saw catch up. It's exactly both of which they were forced to descend down, may have taken some fall damage, but they were essentially trapped in the same exact creation they helped make. And so that allowed them to be cornered and shot to oblivion. And that's how Peak and now, or at least Pick and Wuspect, have a bit of a good solid start. Look at the weaponry, Dwarf. Originally, we talked about how it was a little okay, but now after that skirmish, things are looking a lot more balanced and more prepared on their side.
Yeah, the fight that occurred was a little confusing because it kind of seemed like they were pushing onto another team or the other team was pushing into them. What I think happened is that that starting team was pushing onto them and then didn't realize who they were going up against. PK last round was struggling, but still was able to knock down a few teams before getting to, second to last ring. I remember. See Army get shotgunning Sky, Big Brody in the little chat down in the bottom there. Again, knocking up those kills, and we should not be surprised if we see him in this final ring, which is still a long way off.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit slower now that there's only 30 people in the lobby. I think we started off with the 30 and only 4 have gone down. If they were all duos, that means already a few teams have been completely eliminated, but we're not entirely sure about that either at the moment. But if there's a bunch of singles going around right now, they could be just as lethal going out for blood as, well, Dwarf, they would have nothing else to lose for this game other than to avenge their teammate.
Yeah,
that cold-blooded revenge tour.
It is going to be a little bit of a sob story once you're getting into these last sections just to avenge their squad. And while we haven't had a look at the larger map, I'm gonna assume that wherever they're placed inside of these mountains is going to lend itself to a longer range fight. Mountains and these tree areas are. There's not a lot of natural cover, quote unquote. Natural meaning what structures in the map have been placed, things that you can't just level with your pickaxe. And we have these big gullies and valleys that players are going to have to bridge across or drive a vehicle across. That lends himself to getting shot pretty thoroughly. Oh, see Army getting another shotgun shot on. Oh, Ram X, one of the interviewees at the beginning, getting taken down by the undercover pro in our game here.
It's a little suspect if you ask me, but speaking of suspect, him and his teammates still going through all those gulfs and alleys. They're going to be sitting ducks. If anyone above right now can find and catch them out, but all those pros knocking each other out, it seems, things are going to get a little bit more dicier as things go down very rapidly. 5 players already gone, and while it seems a little slow from our perspective, we can tell from that kill feed, things are really heating up in other parts of the map.
Yeah, PK and Westbeck finally moving out of the mountains and down into the hills with the commoners, and they are just looking to pad their kills. Or wow, 4 kills going on, a huge fight going down with Patzer, Kilgan, and Shottle. Shottle is hopefully dominating the fight here because we interviewed him in the beginning, and yeah, that was I guess the end of that fight. Just a sudden loss of life on all sides. Patzer finishing off a fight against Hammer 2007. Fights going down in Lazy Lake. I just saw that Lazy Lake is one of the last sections, so there might be a lot of water combat. Hopefully people have enough resource. I think the team we're spectating now is about to max out. A beautiful view of this lake, to be honest. This is just a beautiful view of the town.
It's very scenic. But
yeah.
I think we need to talk about Parts for a second because he just went on an absolute rampage. That was at least, what, 3K, 4K coming out from him on the feed? That's straight up nasty.
I hope that his teammate was a good enough help, and it was just him finishing off the kills. But sometimes there is a hard carry coming into these situations, and oh no, this is just going to be a big lake. So the part that I'm worried about this location specifically. Oh, we are seeing another squad.
You see that?
Up on the plane. Oh no!
No!
The flashbacks are coming back already. They are going to start getting fired on the again. Look at these larger open areas. You're totally left without cover. You're going to have to start spending your cover. Look at these guys just trying to build a lakeside cottage on the side of this hill, pushing onto them very aggressively. Still totally unchecked, not doing anything against PK here. We're still wondering who he's going to be pushing against. Almost losing his footing and just trying to set himself up for getting launching himself into the air onto the top of them around this tree and around this bend. They are sprinting for their lives, not wishing to take any fight here. They must be a little underlooted if they don't want to take any of this fight. PK just standing, come and fight me. Why are you here if you aren't here to fight? They are just barricading themselves inside this this wooden structure. They'd have to be underlooted. Yup, PK knocking down Troster, and another interview at the beginning. So that was a tragic ending to that player's game there. I don't imagine the rest of this is going to go that well.
Yeah, if you're Troster right now and his teammate, you're probably wishing you were still in that plane and never tried to engage in this fight. Going uphill, trying to battle someone, and not even really returning any shots. They had to force the retreat upwards, and they're still on the hunt right now. PK seems to be struggling a little bit, trying to find this last enemy, but not able to really connect the dots. We saw one go down, I believe. Did he get both?
No, they're still looking.
Okay. There is still one more. I wasn't sure if my eyes deceived me or not. Still not able to find that last one. He may have escaped or hiding in the floorboards.
Maybe he's like not here. That could be a possibility.
Do you think he went back to the plane?
Ooh, that is a good point. Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up, is that there's fights happening around them. They don't want to spend too long looking for this other player. That might be the last player right there, hiding inside. Another giant aggressive launch coming out from PK. You're lucky that doesn't have any fall damage. But they are just trying to chase this guy out. This must be so frustrating to play cat and mouse with this kid. There you are. Hey, that's what happens, man. You don't want to play to fight, then you're gonna die. There's really no point to sit around and not try to take a fight. At least die with a fighting chance in this case.
And I'm glad you mentioned, there we go, the replay again. Let's keep an eye on that really quick as we see Eagle Eye PK coming through all the way down. That was such a, like you said, Dwarf, a cat and mouse game, and it just ended without really much of a contest. I'm not really sure why Troph and Purple decided to land the plane, go all the way up, and just build around in such a defensive position.
I totally forgot they had the plane.
Yeah, that was just kind of such a weird ordeal to go down, and just the unrelenting aggression from PK and company has just worked out so well for the last 4 kills and 2 engagements we've seen.
We definitely got a lucky spectate placement for this one, because PK and Wuspect have been dominant for every fight that they've been against. I'm a little again Wuspect of the teams that they have been going against. I'm pretty sure this skin doesn't really go make you scared for your life immediately. They're visiting this giant mansion of resource being built over here, and they're just trying to look, let's get to pad my kills here. I'm a little worried about who they're going up against here, because he lands a huge 100 shot shotgun shot right onto PK. PK is looking to defend himself a little bit. He's going to chug up just a small tad before getting pushed again. Wuspect trying to defend the above, trying to communicate with his teammate, trying to figure out who are they going against and what are the threats around. They are fully shielded up and they are ready to go on the offensive, but they are going to be struggling to find them in this giant maze. Totally caught out here in the open. This team is struggling to probably just came out of the ring, to be honest, looking just to survive in this case. Another aggressive nade push from PK. 100 shot onto the snowman over here.
Oh my
totally
lord!
Wiped out. Onto the second one. Health going a little bit lower.
No.
Trying to cut a double kill right after getting knocked down. Beautiful play. Might be getting picked off here by the enemy. You can't build when you're knocked down. So this is going to be pretty unfortunate. A replay happening of what just occurred. And it seems like the team that was there inside that giant mansion is still there. They were just hiding in the lower section. Again, waiting for the heal play. The heal plays to work out. His teammate is not able to find a route up, and you can see in the top left-hand corner the amount of health that this player has. It is very low. He's going to have to use all of his resource accordingly. The storm is shrinking in even. I've been talking for way too long. These guys are going to get destroyed by an unlucky play. That is flying too close to the sun right there. That is what happens.
Yeah, the story of Icarus beat for beat right there, Dwarf. That is just not what you want to do. When you go for the aggressive play after already getting shot nearly to oblivion by another team, you decide to engage with a whole different one that you think might be a bit of a weaker prey nearby, and sure, they were, but then getting that rogue bullet into the back going down, PK was the crux of the team there. Wubster kind of playing the support. Still gonna fall though, and just not the play you want to be in necessarily, especially so close to the storm. But we do have a new team instead. We do see an NRG player that we have been kind of alluding to a few times now, Dwarf. We have NRG. The feed is a little blurry for me, so I do apologize if I say his name wrong. I think that's Benji, and we do have Dang Mike. And all I gotta say is dang. Hopefully they can bring it to first place.
Yeah, we're going to see in the top right-hand corner. Oh, they're putting shots straight into another team. Again, very caught up by this
here we
open
go again.
environment, where this ring lends to. Putting in about 100 damage onto both targets there, and just trying to play around this porta potty, which can teleport you into certain parts of the map, but I don't think it's going to be coming in handy anytime soon. Checking his corners, very smart. You can see the experience that this player has, wanting to make sure he does well in this tournament. The Storm is going to be closing in on him, and I'm wondering if the enemy team that he was shooting at is going to start taking advantage of that. The Storm was right there. Doesn't look like they're really looking at him. They're just kind of building and then trying to find a way out. They got totally caught out in the open. There was no competition. I'm not even sure they knew he was there.
Yeah, and that's kind of a commonality we've been seeing for a lot of the spectator views in this game. Another one's gonna go down. He's able to find two. NRG showing why he's a pro. Apparently able to find two different squads at once. Dwarf is just absolute madness, it seems. He's able to go wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And that is not dang at his name. He's going dog mode on everybody. That was a complete 4-person wipe all over that scaffolding.
Okay. Yeah, it is a commonality. I see what you're saying. Like
everyone's being caught out with their pants down. Whoever's being spectated, they're just not even fighting back until it's way too late.
It's frustrating, and like I think it's because of the environment we find ourselves in. Some of these teams are walking from the ring, and they're trying to find some footing somewhere around the map, and they're really not looking around their surroundings. So what's happening to the right, what's happening behind them a little bit to the right, it's complicated, but these more experienced players are definitely going to be a little bit more dominant. I think I can see 8 kills for Energy Benji, and that is just dominant. That is most of the lobby, to be honest. Not most of the lobby, but it is a huge portion of it, huge fraction of it. So I am scared to see what that number is going to be at the end.
You know, we come from different games, and I think both of them have the same exact, commonality again, where there are aces in them. And I think, there isn't really, an equivalent of that in Fortnite, but I think NRG is coming pretty close, if I do say so myself. He's been able to take out a good chunk of the team, or the entire game. He has his cake and eats it too, and he's going to be throwing some grenades on a structure nearby, maybe trying to go for some pre-fire shots to see if he can drag them out to his own domain. But Dwarf, that seems a little unlikely. He's playing it safe, and again, this is what's kind of deviating away from the other teams we spectated. He's playing it safe and allowing those aggressive teammates to come to him into his own domain.
He has the exact same item that PK had. That bomb there will shoot him into an arc that will bring him basically in range of that structure. He's throwing that grenade because it's made out of this strong metal. Throwing that grenade will definitely weaken the exterior of that and definitely lend itself to kills. People building up on that hill there, making sure they aren't going to be taking these assault rifle shots coming up from NRG. And it's a frustrating situation to be in. What if you don't have enough resources? What if you're walking all the game? Look at the resource that NRG has. They could build the Taj Mahal if they wanted, and that's just highlighting their different skill of play. Interesting, they take this position directly across the riverbank. I'm not sure if that's in their best interest, but I'm not sure. I don't think they can walk through like 4 teams, so it is a little frustrating for them to be in that situation. An aggressive move onto the boat? What?
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting move, throwing the rockets down onto a whole bunch of different structures. It's really nice to see a whole bunch of those structures finally going down. No safe scaffolding anywhere to be seen for any teams, it seems, even when there's no building in sight for RNG and Benji, or yeah, NRG and Benji. They're going to be putting up a little bit more defense, but they seem very comfortable with their gunplay as a whole. And while they're building up a little bit, this is a really good aggressive and yet defensive maneuver for them to be able to just silently and slowly push on to the remaining teams.
Yeah, they're putting down some shots in that team to the left there. They are forced to build inside the zone, which is never what you want. So yeah, they get totally eliminated. RG have been with rice water. Apple in the back. Yeah, it was pretty big destroyed. That structure right there is going through an extreme home makeover right now. Just trying to replace with whatever they have. And NRG Benji definitely knows the position that they find themselves in, and I would not be surprised if we see an aggressive push. Still not using that that bouncing grenade. They're going to go for a straight tower fight here, and these some of the last squads we're going to find ourselves in. Trying to find that height advantage starting there. Hidden behind this structure was another iron structure right behind that, so they're going to start pumping in shots and try to keep an eye on what's behind them. It looks like NRG Benji spots out another structure that's hidden behind the waterfall. A lot to keep track of here, but if you just keep your height advantage and don't let people put too much damage on you, you'll be fine.
Yeah, if you're in Benji and Dog's positions right now, you have a lot to look out for, and you're in a really vulnerable spot, all things considered as well. Looking around you, the entirety of the circle could be against you in this positioning. Now, I do believe there might be some players below them as well. I don't think they were ever fully flushed out, but their main focus is going to be right up ahead with at least 2 or 3, maybe even different players in the structure below. And yes, they are still below near the waterfall. Now, what's smart here, Dwarf, is that those players can't build up anymore. They're limited. But as it
launched
says,
over,
as
Benji
it
Fish
seems-
launched him, yeah, with a big structural move there, and he's going to be aggressively pushing onto this team over here, which is inside the ring. A genius move by Benji. I'm going to be honest, that was really smart. Using that extra structure you have, putting 30 damage into people that are just trying to get us over. They are just trying to make a bridge to Terabithia right now, and they're not able to find any route that functions. So many assault rifle shots are being pumped into their weak structures, and everyone's just trying to find a home in this small little world. It is not working out for any of the teams that are trying to get over. Yes, it is completely reliant on your building capabilities, and we can see that Energy Bendy Fish totally upgraded the place that they took over. The eye is going to be shrinking in about a minute, and they're going to be aggressively pushing onto the tower, the next height, trying to get that supremacy in the height of this map.
Yeah, notice again that they're going for this full aerial yet horizontal push, making sure that no one else can fully build up. And if they do, they're going to be pushing right into their domain. Everyone else is essentially trapped down below, and if the circle comes on by and the only way out is up, well, they're going to be facing the the hands of Benji and Dog really quickly. And also that positioning too, they're able to just shoot down like fish in a barrel to anybody who dare peeks their head out or even is in a destroyed vicinity. Dwarf, this is looking really good for this duo.
Yeah. Benji Fish hoping, oh my gosh, an immediate kill onto Pratzer, who was doing well earlier in the map. Unfortunate. I think he used a teleport all the way up to the top there and just tried to land to see what he could do. But unfortunately, Benji Fish is sitting at full shields, full health, and you're coming down, and he knows you're going to be there. They are invading the bottom levels. Mikey is invading the bottom levels of the round right there. We can't see him yet, but I can assume he's only getting kills and getting knocks down while his Benji Fish looks to finish this off. Oh, get it! That was the end of the map. Someone got. Yeah, I think that was it.
Well,
No,
a very good ending all around. You gotta give it to Benji and you gotta give it to Dog. They really were able to suppress that final act of the game. They were able to use the materials they had early on, or at least fairly early on, and won every single engagement they were in. Of course, because they won, but also because there was never really an instance where they were on the back foot. They always had an escape plan. They always had a way to build around, and they always had a way to take any advantage, whether it be building or strategic through gunfights, to be able to bring it to their own motives and to bring their own advantage. And there was, again, never a time where they didn't have a plan.
Yeah, their planning and the way they thought of these fights was clear. Let's think back to what we could spectate of this team. The team who killed them was Petite. Or sorry, what was the name? It
Peak.
wasn't Petite.
PK?
Yeah, PK.
Is it? Yeah. Is
PK
it Peak
was
or
overly
PK?
aggressive. Yeah, we'll have to ask him later.
Mhm.
PK was overly aggressive and got shot out by the NRG team, just putting down shots onto the players that were out in the exterior. But when they had a situation where they found themselves outside the ring, they always found a way at the perfect time to make themselves into the ring and to push out whatever squad was there. Just a double, maximizing your movements to inform the enemy's like limits is a genius piece of tech right there. When you're moving over to one place and now the team underneath you can't do anything, that's pure skill. That's just mentality. That's 10,000 IQ. It's not just showing up saying I'm going to destroy your structures and shoot you in the face. It's I'm going to make my position better than yours.
I think it's worth talking about too. The core difference between what we saw with Benji and Dog compared to PK and Wubs was that the original squad of Peak and Wubs, they played so aggressively in the beginning, and PK at the very end purposely put himself in a really dicey position. And while it did work out originally, he got that double kill, and Wubs was kind of there as backup. It was the storm that took them away, and that was the biggest killer of all for at least them and probably a lot of other teams as well that we saw off camera.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as much. Let's say this: PK, the person we were spectating first, was the playmaker. It was the person who would make the move and get the kill because they had all the action. Uh, NRG's, Benji and Dog, they made the enemy make the moves. Think about when he threw those grenades on that largest structure. When he was throwing those grenades on the largest structure, he wasn't really trying to make a threat, wasn't trying to make a play. He was really telling the enemy to let's focus this threat. The zone's right here. Everyone should be focus firing this guy. I'm no threat to you guys. I'm over here. I'm the furthest from the zone. And that was completely false. If any of those teams could notice and remember the skins, the tight fitting suits that keep them oh so hidden, they might have been able to take them down just with a little bit more focus fire. Uh, it's pretty smart, to be honest.
Yeah, it was smart. There was a lot of strategic plays and a lot of even like, there's micro strategies, there's micro strategies, but then there's super micro strategies that even, for us commentators, it can be super hidden until the very end of the game. And it's really what goes through the players' minds about what they're thinking at the moment that really dictates how the game could go as I go back into the Nether realm. But with that being said, Dwarf, I'm super excited to see how map 2 is going to go down because after what we saw already, it's really hard to knock Benji and Dog off of that champion throne. And we saw a lot of other players, I think like PK and like Prats, that could have a really good chance depending on how they choose to start off the second game.
Yeah, and I think this is the last game of the night.
Yes.
I can't remember how the point differentials work, but it is still going to be very important for people to make a play here. We're going to be bringing in the winner of that last match, NRG Benji and Dog. We are going to be waiting for their arrival and any moment now, but I'm excited. I have so many questions about where they learned, what their game experience is. What are some things that you'd think you'd want to know?
I'd like to know what the big difference I would say from their perspective, a pro player for Fortnite is than someone that's aspiring to be a pro or tries to work in the tournaments too, but doesn't have the resources to really practice all day, and what they think from their perspective really sets themselves beyond.
Yeah, a lot of these kids are students. We all have other things going on. In fact, I'm a student. I'm
Same.
that we all have our own things going on. Being able to play at this level, being able to play and impress people this much is honestly amazing. I'm incredibly proud of these people for showing up and putting in energy to in these games. It's honestly so exciting to see events like this go down, and I hope to see more just like them.
I hope so too, and I can't wait to see, even some of the players that might not win any of the games here today, Dwarf, maybe they'll be able to practice through GameSync and be able to rise up to be one of the best players in all of Fortnite using the facilities and all the resources these tournaments bring out. You never know, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, let me just say right now, like, I'm from a university that has an esports team. Like,
Oh,
there are
lucky you.
people scouting right now, for certain teams. There are people willing to put scholarship money on the line. Even heck, even teams looking to sign others. While NRG Benji, I'm not 100% sure it is the real one. You can have copycat usernames sometimes. Um, there's a good chance that he is actually associated with NRG, and you're going to there he would have been given his own resources, definitely private in nature, but resources nonetheless, such as a great teammate. Wuspect, even though we didn't get to see his POV, we definitely saw Wuspect was kind of like the dog who went into the dirt and got whatever groundhog they needed to get out of there. For that last kill, for some reason, it ended in like the outer ring, and I think that the last person to die was just pushed out by Wuspect. We didn't get to see a ton of that because we were on the aerial view, but I'm imagine there's plenty of skill in his play as well.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because we have a replay going on. Well, maybe we don't. But regardless of the fact, though, the two different duos that we were able to spectate today, I think, did have really good, backbone supports for both teams. Wubs with PK able to really show off what they could do, and Dog with Benji able to really help be that backbone, get those resources, get those kills. While we were lucky enough to spectate PK and Benji more specifically, they were able to go in and get the kills and be flashy for the stream. You're right, Dwarf. It is that kind of dichotomy, that mixing pot together to really have a perfect team.
Yeah, duos is definitely different from three-man. I think the popular one is three-man tournaments usually. Four-mans are a little rare because it kind of just gets chaotic. But duos is something else. You have to kind of have a relationship. I think we had one of the interviews come in talking about being a partner with each other, and having to understand what the enemy, what you're going to have to be putting forth as a teammate. And it's hard to kind of understand from our perspective what's included in that. Like, one of the things that people have always wanted in esports is to hear the comms. um, I would pay $500 to watch a stream and hear the players' comms for any game, like anything. Like, getting to hear how people are thinking and wondering, and communicating about their play. Some really interesting things happen inside those communications.
Yeah, I mean, for every duo, every team, regardless of what it is through any game, it's always an interesting treat, to say the very least, to see what teammates are saying. Sometimes people just don't say anything at all, and sometimes that's either the most awkward or even the most rewarding times for teams. And it's truly different. It is like a snowflake for each comm system, how they're all developed in. You're right. I would pay good money too to see how it all really boils down, especially for what we saw with Benji and Dog. What did they communicate with? How did they talk? They're probably just like, "No, we got this. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Don't worry."
there are certain situations. I coming from the Overwatch community mostly, there is this moment where one of the best players in the league suddenly switched characters. You can switch characters in that game, and
Oh,
people in the chat are like trying to theorize, like, why would they do that? What's the reasoning behind it? And they were like trying to, in the interview, they were like, what was the thinking behind that play, because it ended up winning. And he was like, I said to my team, guys, trust me, and then we won. Uh, that's that level of, like, synergy isn't what's communicated; it's what's not said is what's good synergy, and we could see that from, Wuspect uh, and whoa, wait, Mikey or Wuspect? There was a Mikey as well. Now I'm
Dog
getting
was
a little
Mikey.
confused. Yeah, Dog was Mikey, and then was Wuspect part of PK?
Yeah, he was the backbone support.
Ah, I'm getting them a little confused. Sometimes these tournaments will get a little bit confused because I don't know. They were just so good. They were, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, there
The I,
wasn't really much of a difference between either of them, except one was a little bit more outwardly aggressive, and the other one, the winning team, was a little bit more passive aggressive, I would say, if that makes sense.
or I'm getting a little confirmation from the chat that he is 100% associated with NRG. Maybe.
Oh, so
Well,
what was
maybe.
that, like 85%?
Yeah, somewhere around that ballpark. We can. Oh man, while I haven't done it yet, I know about the Twitch, like, prediction thing. I would love to see that in a
Oh,
Fortnite tournament. Because they're like, I was thinking, like, during the fishing portion of the last stream, I was kind of hoping
yes.
we'd get another system of that, because it'd be like, all right, guys, what's he gonna get next round? Is he gonna be an octopus? Is he gonna get some shields? Is it gonna be a gun? I was so excited to get another fishing portion, but no, sadly we got a little bit more exciting of a round, which I can
We
only be
we
grateful for.
we got the mountains. The cold, harsh mountains that breed only the strongest players, it seems, and that's exactly what we got. It ended in a
Seriously.
tropical paradise too.
Yeah, I mean, thinking back to it, thinking about how the players could inform their aim, inform their play. I mean, I have struggled in my own Fortnite games of staying on my own structure. We talk about that aerial superiority thing where they build these mega structures above an entire battlefield or fight. And I would not be able to stand on top of that thing. My W or D key would, get a little itchy, and I'd have to press it, and then I'd fall off, and be like, "Oh, I meant to go for a shotgun fight," and then die.
See, I think we're polar opposites. Sometimes I'll play with my little cousin. He's like, Keg, you have to build. You're in a gun. You have to build. No, I'm just gonna not build anything, and I'm just gonna lose gunfights or
They
win
won't expect
gunfights.
it.
But I've never touched the building key. I'll be honest with you. It's just like, have you seen people on keyboard and mouse edit? It is absolutely insane. They'll do like 7,000-degree macroeconomic geometric
Scary.
angles, and it's beyond crazy what these players can do. And I wish I could say I was not jealous of them, but I'm very jealous.
Yeah, when we're thinking about like building strategy, Fortnite is when it came onto the battle royale scene, if we want to call it that, back in the day. I can't remember what year that was happening.
2017,
Maybe. I mean, battle royales have
maybe?
been around for a little bit with the Minecraft Hunger Games.
Oh
Heck
yes.
yeah. Let's get a tournament for that going.
Ooh.
Anyways, the Fortnite's unique with the building aspect. We talked about resource economy coming into for the first round that we casted, and it's important that it informs the play style. You can infer a lot about enemy teams based on what resources they're currently using, and how they're building structurally. So that let's think back onto when they were in the lake. We had across the lake we saw two structures. One was this kind of like two pyramid kind of like tower, and the other one was this like on the hill structure. The one that was the two pyramids was built with a lot of metal, and then a bunch of explosions came through, and they had to start building with brick. And then when they started actually pushing, everything was made out of wood. You kind of break down everyone's stronger resources until that final round. You're just trying to make it, push on to the later end. Uh, yeah, we're getting some Minecraft Hunger Games love in the chat. Definitely miss those things, but building is something so interesting about Fortnite. Oh, I remember something from the first round we saw. I can't remember who it was, but they were respawning their teammate, and they purposely built a before Fortnite was a battle royale, it was a player versus environment zombie survival game, and they built this small window space, which I imagine was only for aesthetic value, or like sniper value. But in Fortnite, we absolutely don't use that. But they used it just so they could get that little, that little res space. I thought that was genius. I love how these players are thinking about how to use their builds. Keg, I'll let you talk here. I'm getting a little frothy.
No, I was enthralled. I kind of lost myself in all of it, but I think we're just about ready to get started with the next game. It's gonna be the final one of the night from GameSync with this Fortnite tournament here tonight. Again, the prize pool for the #1 winning team is still gonna be that $20, but if there are any more donations that come on through tonight, we'll go towards that prize pool. And of course, this will be the first of many of those Fortnite tournaments. And of course, as it's been alluded to from other casters, many other different games beyond Fortnite as well. If this is not your taste, you do have that same great production for other games coming very soon. But sticking around the Fortnite though, what are your predictions, Dwarf, going into this final game tonight?
Okay, so we saw the rise of the long distance fight. We saw the psychology of structure building. I'm going to predict that people are going to be utterly terrified when they see a black suit scary person. I have this issue when I get into a game. I see a certain kind of skin and I get kind of scared. That is a skin I'd be very scared of, and I think people would be wise to recognize it and turn the other way. I think people are going to be wiser about the fights they take and will actually take the fights. Hopefully some of them are watching the stream and know what I've been saying, because I'm tired of seeing people just get walked on and then they never pull out a gun. It's not like you never got a gun. I know you have a gray pistol somewhere sitting there. Heck, you have a pickaxe. Start hitting the kid. It's time to get started.
Yeah, you have to wonder what goes on through the minds, not even in a negative way of those other players. It's more like, they're building and building, but that game sense or maybe even that awareness is just so either hyper focused on what they're doing, which is normally the building, that they're just not aware that someone is just soaring in the sky over them, landing down and shotgunning them in the back. But that's how competitive Fortnite goes a lot of the time, it seems. Oh, but we're just about ready to get into the game now. We gave our predictions already. I want to see if we're going to see more fishing again. That was so cool, and I want to see more of it.
Yeah, we're the fishing casters. We were the ones who were supposed to get that game. I'm
We were
okay.
robbed.
That is cool though. I like seeing some of the random things when they were talking about that. It is definitely a changed game. When Fortnite's biggest competition was PUBG, um, the thing that differentiated them was like Fortnite has like fun going for it. They have fishing mini games. It has more exciting skins. It has these diverse kind of heals abilities they add. I mean, if you guys were here for the cap or not, I was about to say Captain American, but it was the Marvel Fortnite event. It was so fun to kind of watch that thing. Oh, and we have dropped down finally. This is exciting to see. We are spectating More Last 12 and Ricewater ZZ. Ricewater ZZ died in the midpoint of the game. I do not remember More Last 12 making an impact in the game last round.
I'll be honest with you, Dwarf. I just karate chopped my headphones, so I have no idea what you just said for the last, 15 seconds.
It's okay. I think I heard you go a little silent, but that's okay. We are in Salty Towers in the middle of this desert. I don't see a zone around them yet, but they are spectating this other team that is across the street from them. They are looking inside their window, trying to figure out what skin they have on. What do you think's going to happen here?
I mean, looking at it right now, Morris does have the positional advantage. He is on top. He hasn't been spotted just yet. He has all the advantages in the world given his circumstances, but it's whether or not he can land that first fire. If he's able to get the headshot, maybe even something of a body shot, that'll be a great advantage. It'll slow them down. They'll be confused, but it's also a 2v1. Let's see if he can take these first shots. He's able to find one, but it's not going to be another one to connect after.
Ricewater's on the flank right now. Ricewater is very close.
You're right, Dwarf. Let's see what Ricewater's going to do.
No, he's actually in that tower next to him. He's in basically the same position, maybe a little bit lower. But again, that team completely unaware. They did not see or hear they must not be playing with headphones on. They didn't see or hear the building that was happening across the street, unfortunately. The other team was all too aware. And that is another common theme. In fact, when they were moving across, I think they were hitting each other with the pickaxe, if I caught that right. They were kind of playing around in the sand.
They're building that chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, tournaments are fun. You're here to have fun. Keanu here, coming in with his pickaxe. They're trying to figure out if this team is still present. Just trying to be a little sneaky and tactical. Ricewater, on the other hand, is trying to make as much ruckus as possible so they know where they are.
See, now this is a common military strategy too. Make as much noise as you can, have someone go into the shadows and try to get the kills. But it looks like they're not going to opt for either of those. They don't have the intel anymore, and going into that engagement would be the advantage of everybody else. Instead, they're going to drive off into the sand or salt?
Crystals.
Yeah, the crystalline lands. But they are going to find some engagements.
Yes, the fight breaking out right now is against a pirate, I think. I'm not sure what player that is, but they are taking the aerial superiority, getting a couple shotgun shots on the side. More or less is dropping down a little bit low health here. They don't have a lot to heal up, and they don't have a lot of time. Getting 64 damage onto, it looks like Fishwater's. Oh no, Fishwater's taking down another shotgun shot. More or less getting shot by Apple ZZ, totally taking them out of the fight. Apple ZZ taking down their starting team, and it was Fishwaters and Apple ZZ. Hopefully they picked up that banner because they are going to need it for that respawn. That was a really well played.
Yeah, that was really well played, and breaking it down will be aided by a replay here. Let's see exactly what happened. We see more going down. It's going to be the shotgun shells to the face, but then he's going to jump down again. He has the intel on the other teammate. He's going to blast them just as quickly, and it just shows the superiority of the shotguns in Fortnite and how crazy they can be up close, and just a swerve of the stick, able to get a really flashy double kill at that. And if you're Apple, Sure, you're down a teammate, you're down all of your armor, but you're chilling right now. You have so many weapons to play around with, you have so much to build with, and you have a car for that transportation. Dwarf, all that matters now is that he gets that banner down and respawns his teammate.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure where the next respawn is, but he's going to be on the search for it. There might be one in this town. Yep, I see one right there, and he's heading right straight for it. Something I want to talk about in that fight was coming into it. It didn't really seem like Apple or Fish were really prepared. They kind of just they saw the truck driving up, and then they kind of got walked in on. But Apple was able to control kind of the space a little bit better than they were. If I'm going to be honest, the player playing Keanu was I can't remember his name now,
Rice.
but he walked way out into the way out to get shot, and it was really unfortunate because I was expecting a lot more from that player. I was expecting him to kind of play more tactically, but he exposed himself when he was trying to, find more of an advantage outside, but instead just took a shotgun to the face.
No, I completely agree with you. Going for those airsoft gun kind of super tactical maneuvers work well in cities, but beyond that, when you're in an open space and you are kind of playing on a 50-50 leverage ground where you have to build everything, it gets really kind of dicey. And unfortunately, they rolled the wrong way. They fell down. They got snake eyes. And not only did all that happen, they were able to take down Fishby. He gets respawned again. This is looking really good for Apple and Fish right now, and I couldn't name you a better combo than Apples and Fish.
Apples and Fish. I'm noticing that they're definitely a little bit more aware
Delicious.
of their environment. They're kind of like they're a little bit suspect of sounds they can hear. They're kind of looking out with maybe some of their snipers or long range rifles into some movement that they might have seen, and I appreciate it. I think that this is the reason they won the first fight. They might have been able to get more damage in at the first. They probably have a little bit more communication going on, but that does not mean they're 100%. Salty Towers might be at the center of this ring. We're coming down to maybe the third or second ring here, but they are looking pretty solidly in the center of this town. So I'm not expecting a super long range fight like we did last round. What do you think?
No, I'm not really expecting to see anything long range. In fact, I'm not really expecting to see a gunfight for a little while now. A bunch of teams do have to go into the circles. We're seeing some lost to the storm already. A taxi now in the possession of them too, it seems. They're looking for their getaway. They're clearing out the area. They're trying to make a mother base, a home area, in case they do get enthralled upon, in case they do get attacked. And this is a really smart maneuver. And Dwarf, that plays directly into that whole mantra of they just had that better game sense in that initial engagement, and they benefited from it so well that they are completely kitted out, or at least as much as you can given how many players are in this game.
Kitted out, it's a little aggressive to say because they are currently a little bit over half on shield. Isn't ideal, but I don't think this place really has the best loot. As I'm looking through this, a lot of this was picked over by the first squad that landed here, which we were spectating, and they're kind of realizing the situation they're in, and they're just hoping they can get enough resources to last a night. And they are racing to harvest the entire town of whatever tiny stuff they can get, trying to preserve a little bit of the barriers that they're going to have to use for these fights soon. Oh,
And that's
no.
really smart. You can tell they're thinking end game plan rather than even the short term like initial gunfights they can take in the next few minutes. Having all those resources for the final engagements towards the very end. We saw what Benji and Dog could do in that same exact area. So why not replicate that too? Get those small resources to make sure they can build an absolute villa estate at the very end of the game.
They might actually be choosing to leave. The ring has relocated very far away. Might be time to grab that taxi, but they're going to opt to walk instead.
I think the taxi walking is better than the taxi. You do get a little bit more extra armor. You do go faster, but if they're able to have that taxi disabled and go down, well, they're sitting in their tomb. And
Um,
plus, they're super recognizable.
the Mandalorian is apparently playing. Mandalorian killed a couple players, and I know pre-stream we were talking about the wonderfulness of that TV show, but no, I just saw that chat. I didn't know if that was the environmental like Mandalorian. I can't remember if that's still up now, but we'll just keep another eye on that. I think also Shottle is getting more shots with the shotgun, which we can always appreciate.
Yeah,
See
there's
you,
a
Army. What? Yeah, YouTube. All right, YT is YouTube probably.
Yeah, there's been a lot of interesting engagements going down outside of the match so far, but you know, you gotta give it to Apple and Fish. They're still chugging along. They're still doing a pretty good job. I'm curious to see if we do get a little bit of an introduction of Mando himself. You've gotten me all excited for that now, and that's the only thing that's gonna be on my mind for the next minutes. But oh, a crystal. What's going on there, Dwarf?
Yeah, the crystal was introduced actually. I think before the game had its full release. It gives you a little bit of a boost, but it gives you this
They're gonna need
environmental effect. Yeah, there is a team coming in straight across this bridge, and they're realizing they cannot cross without paying a toll of their life. They're looking up to build up a small structure here, but it might not be enough. This is actually kind of flimsy for the stuff that they actually have. They're opting to jump over with the crystals of their own, getting a few shots on, but nothing that's actually going to be pretty substantial. They're going to keep their eye on it, though.
Yeah, looking at the positioning right now, it seems like there's quite a few different people almost surrounding them in a semicircle, going across the bridge. There is one to their far right. You can see Apple's really looking to see if they can catch them out or if they're going to be a late game flank going on, and either of which is not the best position for these two to be in. So they're going to be opting to relegate themselves away from the bridge and go towards that single hacker who could have gone for the flank or more likely probably wanted to escape. Honestly, escaping is probably the better motion. They get to be near the storm. They have a little bit of safety there, and they're so close to the circle that it shouldn't be much of an. Never mind. Never mind. It is an issue. They might be dying.
I don't think it's it's not doing enough damage.
Not yet. Well, if they can manage their time enough, and Fish has been able to, but Apple's slowly falling farther away and going out to the mountains and just having the storm. If that guy is still behind, could be a huge issue.
Yeah, I'm also wondering what are they walking into. I can't recognize this part of the map, but it seems like it's a little bit more of an open area. I've had a lot of my own games end here, and it's not fun. They're putting in their own shots into a team that's traveling right around that tree right there. There's other squads also looking at them from the other environment. They haven't healed up fully. Apple's is currently sitting at 50 shield and 50 HP, while Fishwaters is just trying to put in as much damage as they can. They're trying to get up a little bit more distance. They're just kind of shooting randomly at different squads, not really focusing firing onto one, just telling people, hey guys, we're here. An aggressive move over from Apple's at the base of this giant homunculus of wood, just trying to find any leftovers at the bottom, see if any teammates that are still trying to craft a little bit. They might be hearing an enemy shotgun shot coming straight from above. Not sure what you guys expected when you aren't looking up, and they're just trying to make a build structure for the top. A bunch of damage coming down onto Apple's, down to 18 HP, saving himself from taking a little bit of fall damage. Going to be trying to shield up right now, but I'm not sure if it's going to be any help because he's going to be taking damage from the side from other teams that he grabbed the attention right before. Fishwater's following another team, another shotgun shot, getting totally taken down by Twitch Shottle, who is getting a bunch of kills in the different parts of the round. Wow, what a turn of events.
Yeah, a complete turn of events. We saw a huge aggressive play coming out from Apple and Fish. They brought themselves in without very much cover. Not a lot of really, analysis from their own side. Just kind of going in, seeing what can happen next. But as we talk, though, Shottle looks like he's already engaged in another fight. He was able to take down a whole squad pretty much single-handedly. And he's going to go for another one. I'm not sure where their teammate is. Unknown player. No mercy at all, Dwarf. Shotgun to the brain. That shows the dominance that Shottle has been bringing out this game. Now, I'm not sure if you know, I certainly don't at the moment, but Benji and Dog were able to do something similar the last game, but they're nowhere to be seen. Shottle had a quiet presence in that last map as well, and this time around, he's going out in full force.
He's going out, I think, completely solo. There is no username in the top left-hand corner of his friend. So, oh, he just found someone in the bush that was hiding. He was looking to do somewhat of the same. He didn't have a weapon out. That is remarkable. Hopefully he's able to live this one. He eats a fish, the remarkable fish, shielding up a little bit more. He wasn't able to get the knockdown out, I don't think, but I wonder whose team that guy's on, because that was, he got Twitch Shuttle 77 eliminated Awakened Fireflies. That is unfortunate. Setting a little bit of a fire here, putting a little stop to your plans. There's also other teams going to be approaching him pretty soon. Yes, a duo waiting for him to get out. He is looking to launch himself out of there.
Oh no, Bushman. Killing Bushman seems to have ended his life, essentially. He might be in a big bit of trouble. But he's able to
launching himself out of the fryer and into out of the frying pan and into the fryer here. There's teams surrounding him.
It's the Bushman prophecy. He's now stuck in the swamp, completely built himself under. He's all groggly, staying in the water, but that duo is not going to relent. They're keeping on going. They know what a threat that this gingerbread man can be, and they want to make sure that we have heard of the gingerbread man as he might be finding his final engagement. There's not a lot of room left, Dwarf, and if this engagement, if these duos can find him, he might be a little bit in trouble. Oh. That's one hit.
There's some movement at the top here. I'm not sure if the enemy team that is interacting with the top of this knows. There's a little bit of particle effects. They're kind of hiding under the floorboards here, making sure they don't hear a little peep. He's staying absolutely still. I think also when you're in the water, your sound is a little bit amplified. That splashing sound effect can sound a little bit louder than footsteps on wet mud. So he's got to be extra careful with how he chooses to move this one. You can see he's not AD strafing like you would normally, because he knows he's not a welcome guest. He is an intruder in this case, hiding in someone else's environment.
Now, what I'm concerned about is in 12 seconds, that storm's going to be pushing on forwards. It's one of the later storms, too. That's going to be a lot of damage, and if you're this gingerbread man, you're kind of stuck. You know, if you move out, you might get taken down by one person, not a duo or two, or you have to fight your way out. I'm not really too sure, Dwarf, what Shottle's gonna do in this position, but he sees he's using a camera glitch. He's able to see not too far away is another duo. This might be the end right here if he wants to take the fight or not. But no, he's going to escape.
Make his move.
He has a little hidey hole. He's looking around, doesn't see anybody just yet, but that storm is right on his keister. He's got to get out of there.
He's looking for an opportunity. It also, he is super low on resource. He's gonna have to start building with steel pretty soon. He's just kind of looking to, I'm just passing by, guys. I'm just passing by. This war is not about me. I have a message to deliver. Dark Knight got knocked out. Patzer is also still in this game. For other people, he's trying to get a little bit more on the kill feed here, just to try to pad his score just a small tad. And walking through the environments of those who have been fallen before, he is looking to finish off maybe third man of party. If someone has finally taken notice to him, and he is looking to make another very aggressive move into the swamp, barricading himself. Might be a little bit unfortunate. I'm going to be honest. You're putting yourself in a little box. You're going to get cooked up. Getting shot down. Most of his shields goes down, but he is instantly replenishing it, and he's realizing his situation. He finds a dead body and collects a little bit more of a resources. He's pretty well stacked for this next fight.
Yeah, quite literally, I think Shottle might be having the whole world up against him right now. He's trying to maneuver himself around wherever he can. He's battening on trees, trying to take those down as well, but that's going to be a lot more noise, definitely a lot more visibility, and there's no way people don't notice this giant metal box coming out through the swamps. He is surrounded by so many different duos, 11 other people besides him still alive, and he does have the resources to maybe get out of there and survive for another circle, but in 4 seconds, he's got to move out of his positioning again. He's just outside the hemisphere.
Yeah, so think about what his kit is. His kit is a fish, instant replenishment, a unique shotgun, and a blue assault rifle. He's gonna want to prioritize the shotgun more than anything. So all of his moves have to be aggressive, and he might want to bet on the enemies not knowing that he's a solo. Teams have to really notice and communicate that kind of stuff. Steel's kind of hard to look through, so people might think that there's another guy and play a little bit more passively. So you have to bring that. He's trying to just inch into that ring. Just let me in, let me through. He's securely enlarging his little space here.
He's definitely in a safe position now, at least in terms of the circle, but all the other teams building around him, that's a very different story. He has a lot of different angles, just, something shy of pixel peaks at every which corner, but he's able to use those to his advantage to see Mary Poppins flying through the air, able to find another one. He's able to shoot him quite a bit, but it's another duo. In fact, it's more than just a duo. It's different multiple teams all combating against each other. He's just a third party in this case, trying to find a way to get some free shots in. But even then, he still has to move forward. Keep in mind, too, Dwarf, to his lower left is another team he still has to worry about.
12 people are left around these squads. Not sure how many different teams that is. He might not be the only solo in this case. And there might have been something that gone wrong. He's kind of just standing still. I don't think it's anything on our side. I think he might have been disconnected, or maybe his mom's trying to talk to him. No, he's back in it. That is terrifying.
I think someone may have heard him. Maybe Mom's up there. I'm not too sure, but there we go. He's going to be skedaddling out of there straight into the course of fire. He's surrounded by everybody. He's going to build as much as he can.
He has taken the crown jewel of this next zone, and he is going to secure himself in a house of bricks that cannot be blown down with a huff, puff, puff. He is going to play this shotgun fight to the fullest.
With 12 people still left alive, everyone's fortifying as much as he can. There's a very good chance he is only one of 2 singles left in the game. We're not too sure how many duos are left, of course, but we can only assume. But no, we can assume he's gonna go down. It's Wolfsbane and Peak.
PK with the return. That is wonderful. It's great to see them back in this game.
The prophecy of the Bushman has been fulfilled, Dwarf.
Yes, so PK and Wuspec, the people we were spectating first last round, are still in this game, looking for a redemption arc here. We don't know who else is here, but I'm gonna say it might be safe to say that our last champions of the last round are not. Their play style is not evident in the structures that we see. They're actually, I think those shots are coming from above. That I might have spoken too soon, because directly behind them might be a Sea Army and Snipes Jungle. Dark Knight actually taking down both of those players. Dark Knight, kind of an underdog here, bring in extra kills. A giant rare rocket launcher might be used to break down some major structures here by Wuspec. That's who we are spectating.
Yeah, it's the final moments here. Oh, a barrage from above. The angels from the heavens coming down, slaying with so many bullets. PK has so little health left, but it's Wuspec right now. He was the backbone of the duo last time around in the last match, but this time around, he still has all those materials, and he's trying to safeguard himself and his duo partner. PK's long gone, though. He's trying to protect himself at this point and trying to give an entry, but no matter what he does, all the materials are breaking away. They try to escape down below. This is a very reminiscent story from the last game's ending, except we're seeing it in reverse. They're able to get a rogue headshot onto a J-Hammer. He's gonna go down, and yet another one's gonna fall in the process. So many people are going down. Those numbers are dwindling, but they still have a Titan to worry about above them.
Oh no, he picked up the Dragon shotgun. Again, shotguns are becoming very valuable as we enter this giant vertical labyrinth of resource and building materials. There are some people under them, but under is not where you want to be in this case. Oh no. Yeah, they kind of just found a solo just sitting there. Lucky for them. They're pretty well kitted, but I think there's about 2 or 3 squads above or to the left of them. They are getting pushed onto by this enemy team from above. They decide to teleport up, try to find some better situation. They're going to be immediately shot at. This isn't looking good, because guess who's up here at the top? And I think it's a little, yeah, they are just open seizing.
Oh no!
Like clay pigeons ripping apart their shields. They eventually find some solace, but I'm not sure if it's for very long. They're just trying to find a route along here, trying to find some vertical space to get through. They land safely somehow. Beautiful to see that play.
This is quite literally right now anybody's game. There's no definitive winner right now like last time. Everybody's just going crazy right now. They're pulling out all the stops at the very last moment. That circle is gone. This could be a 7-person heal off right now.
Breaks down
able
someone
to find
with
a
the
double kill. What's gonna happen next?
The NRG was just eliminated. It's gonna come down to heals, or someone's gonna make an aggressive play. PK was knocked out by the storm. It just comes down to whoever's got the most fish here.
That's a lot of fish. Then maybe that river's going to come in handy after all. It's a heal off right now. 3 are alive. That's going to go down to 2 and eventually 1, but we'll get there eventually. And PK's able to, well, now he's going to spectate somebody else. It's down to 2. It's down to 1. Can we have the redemption game for this time around?
That's all you got.
To the storm.
He's
Only
looking for a little bit more damage. That's it.
Yes! The redemption game. Again, the Bushman prophecy coming true. Shadow unfortunately got a little too aggressive towards the very end and got punished for it accordingly. But PK and Wuspect, we talked about them in that first game. They came back around. They played a little bit more aggressively, but a little bit safer at the same time. They took lessons from NRG. They took lessons from Dog, and they were able to apply into a heal off at the very end.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, so funny you mentioned them because they got knocked out by, I think it's Dark Knight. Never heard of the kid, but Dark Knight was able to pick up like a bunch of kills throughout that entire round. And if we could look at the stats, I'd say I'd want to see what he did. But it was, yeah, I think it came down to what you found kitted with you. You found 4 fish, you get a win.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the fishing in, 2 games ago really does pay off towards the very end. So much fish in your pocket, not as much heals as we used to see way back in the early days of Fortnite. It's all about healing with fish. And you gotta admit, I think the teleport we saw at the very end that gave a little bit of extra elevation for Peak and Wubs really paid off too. They were able to evade those shots. They got into a nice little, neat place, and they were never contested again.
Yeah, the vertical supremacy maybe isn't as important when you consider how exposed it makes you. Really, people are able to put in shotgun shots. People are able to put in rocket launchers, grenades in these wooden structures. I think the ring that the storm that we ended up with was looking like it was going to end up in the place where we started, the Sandy, but then it pulled way south. And it was really hard for players to adapt to that. And I think a lot of their good structures got wasted on the road there, because I think we would have saw a lot more intense building from NRG. They really kind of were sleeping in that round. Obviously, we weren't spectating. We couldn't see what they were doing. But the way they informed the last round would have made us think that they would have again had a dominant, approach in this second round. It was still an open ending, but people were able to build up this beautiful, elaborate structure that they could navigate and find, 7 players still in the last round with, and we only knew that 2 of them that existed.
Exactly. And the resource, you could say mismanagement as well, certainly didn't just apply to NRG and Dog either. We saw Apple and Fish kind of go through the same exact trials and tribulations as well. They put up their resources on the bridge, and then they kind of skirted out of there and went across the map to try to catch up with the circle, but they still found themselves in those really disadvantageous situations. It could have been the luck of the spectators finding exactly which players were struggling with the resources and the circle the most, but I'm inclined to agree with you. I think that was a huge commonality across all the duos we saw.
Yeah, and there were some really funny moments there, finding these weird little solos. Somehow in these fights, people got a little separated from each other. The Bushman, I don't think I can't remember who we were spectating at the time, but finding that little guy in the bush was not in his plan. I don't think Shottle was hoping for that, and it kind of messed up his play style afterwards. He got pushed into the swamp, under the floorboards, not even moving, having to utilize visual glitches to be able to understand what's going on.
I'm gonna be real with you, I didn't see Bush Guy at all before he got killed.
Oh, tragic. It was scary. He just kind of went in there. He had the same idea. I'm gonna go heal up. The other guy was already there. It's like walking into the bathroom like, oh my God, I need to go. You open up the stall and like, why didn't you lock? And it was like, I was in such a rush. I wasn't thinking about it. That's how exactly it was. And when you find someone like that and you don't have your gun pulled out already, it's gonna be a fight to the death. And luckily, Shottle came out on the top with that because he had the element of a surprise. What happened? What happened after that little surprise though? That interests us.
Well, after the Bushman was taken down, unfortunately, the prophecy apparently started coming to a full effect where, Shadow was on top of the world. He had, what, 3 to 5 kills already in his favor. And from there, he took down the Rogue Bushman. They fell. And from there, he immediately met up with another duo that was starting to fire at him nonstop. And of course, during then, the circle started to approach. That made Shottle having to relinquish his spot, go into the swamps, build around completely, and hide away like the telltale heart down below the floorboards, waiting for everyone to pass on by. They did pass on by. He had to get out of there as soon as he can. A duo against the entire Citadel, the cities of buildings that people were building right at the end of the circles as well. It was tough. And Shottle, unfortunately, his run ended pretty much there.
Yeah, the getting pushed on by many squads and people just trying to make yourself as, not seeable as possible, trying to not, stay in these like metal shells you create for yourself. It's going to lend yourself to a not a very exciting end. I think just a bombardment came down from the skies, and there were some good tactics that came into making sure to finish off those smaller squads. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed getting to see the return of Piki and Was. Wow, I can't even remember or say the name right now. Wasef. Um, it was pretty exciting to see them come back like that. I want to know how the rest of their rounds went in a potential interview that we might be cooking up.
Yeah, I really want to see this interview. I mean, I would say after that second game, there's so many. I would say we could pretty much interview anybody in the last 15, or in that top 15, because
Yeah,
there's so many different minor storylines we didn't even get to see, let alone talk about.
Yeah. There was in fact I think it was a lot of the same squads throughout the entire event. And we definitely saw an improvement of play, if I'm gonna be
Yes.
honest. People started learning how to take these fights, learned what level of aggression need to be exhibited. I think you could exhibit pretty much like go for any fight you can within the first like 3 zones, and then start thinking about what's gonna happen. Like we saw with using the bouncing environment and those bouncing grenades just to shoot yourself off to wherever part of the world you need to be in, and just shotgun whoever you'd like to kill, is the level of aggression that you need to see at the beginning part of the map.
Yeah, something we've noticed is that a lot of these games were beginning really slow compared to what you're typically seeing in a Fortnite tournament, and that's perfectly fine. It allows a lot more resource buildup and acclimation of weapons and all that other fun stuff. But the big core difference is, and what really separated those bottom tier teams to the higher tier teams that we saw at the very end, was that they were able to manage their aggression all the way through consistently. They were able to find those gunshots, whether or not they ended in kills, that, well, it's yet to be determined, or depending on each and every scenario. But they were able to go for those anyways, rather than run
Yeah.
away.
It is managing your aggression is difficult. You get kind of caught up in the moment. Playing in a tournament where there are 2 casters, there is a crowd watching you, and you have potential to go get interviewed, and there is $20 on the line. Like, how can you even stand that? I'd be shaking in my boots.
I already
Uh,
am.
of course. And it's your nerves will get to you. Coming into fights thinking like, do I need to kill this person or do I need to make sure they don't kill me? And my coach, he always says you have to think about not playing. He'll say like after bad games, like you're playing not to lose. What you should be doing is playing to win. The difference between those things is that you're playing so safely, that you're not giving yourself any opportunity to, get a win off people. But then if you're playing to win, you're putting your neck on the line. You're putting yourselves out there to get kills, get wins. And I think, our Wasaf, or Suf, I can't say the name. Could you say it for me?
Wubs.
Yeah,
The
we're gonna
one
say
and only, the almighty backbone of the team, Wubs.
yeah, Wubs. And NRG's team, they understood how to keep their nerves down and how to play for a win. Don't get too aggressive and play very smartly. And I'm excited to see what the final tally is. I wish we could have little team names for these guys because it is fun to see those kind of rivalries break out.
I'm trying to think of like names right now for each what we saw. We have Team Bushman. We have
Just
Team
the one
Shuttle.
guy.
Yeah, the Bushman prophecy. And then we had I don't know what could we say with PK and Wubs team. I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to think. Well, what was their play strategy?
The fishermen. Yeah.
I
Thank you,
think
production.
Fishermen were one of the mid-level teams. I can't remember their names. It was a really simple name. They both had the same name, which I'm not
Oh.
sure if that's a feature on Xbox, like if you can dual screen or something. I remember back in the Halo Reach days, if you know gave your little sister the controller, you could log her in as like your username and then parenthesis one. But I'm not sure if that still exists. We kind of are in a different time where everyone has 20 electronics in their pocket.
It might be his thing still. I'm not sure.
I hope they have some
I
form
hope
of
so.
cute relationship. I like to see people coordinate their skins. In games, it's kind of hard to find the thing that really speaks to what you want your team to be about. And teams put a lot of thought into that. And it's unfortunate that we didn't gather that information before, because I think we could give a next level of appreciation. I hope that while we're talking about that, I hope we see these people again. Honestly, I want
Yeah,
to see
absolutely.
these storylines continue and see, like, let's get payback on Team Wubs, and let's fight back against NRG. Be
I would love
exciting.
to see that too. Having those storylines being built up over weeks and weeks. Luckily, though, we don't have to wait much longer. I believe these tournaments for Fortnite are going to be weekly as well. You can always sign up as well if you're in the audience. But yeah, Dwarf, those storylines are so cool to see. And that's what really sets the difference between, GameSync and other leagues compared to, different ones, going away from each other, is having that connection, those storylines, and really rooting for a team. I don't know about you, but I'm really rooting for PK and Wubs now.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them again. Hopefully, I'm casting their future games, and I'm hoping to see even more competitors. Heck, even maybe a full lobby would be really exciting to see. Maybe a spectate mode where we can bounce around and practice our little ADHD brains out of our minds. I'd like to be able to self-manage the entire team, especially seeing like new updates come through. I think I think you're going to be able to find most of these future games on GameSync.gg/events. If you want to sign up for another round, join the Discord. You're going to be able to see there, and maybe sign up for a birthday party if you're looking for it. GameSync has a ton of new events coming out, and there's going to be a huge upscale pretty soon. You're going to see a lot of activity from us.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot more of us in D, and not even just in Fortnite too. If you want to go to GameSync.us, you can see the whole calendar and the center for all the different tournaments, whether it be birthdays, whether it be esports, all this stuff going on. And if you're a fan of other games beyond just Fortnite, check out other games that will be showing off later on and very soon. That Dwarf, I think we might be casting those too.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. Yeah, Fortnite. I know we don't have a ton of experience casting Fortnite, but it is very fun to do because these players will do these moves that you wouldn't even expect. There's a tremendous amount of creativity coming out of these players because, like, again, it's coming back to the building and the things that they keep on adding this game to differentiate it from these other dying battle royales. They keep on adding these things that add to the player and support player creativity, and giving them those resources is going to make sure that they understand, like, what are they capable of. We saw Fish, even though we memed it to death in the second round, come in clutch every single one. It came down to who's got the most. And
Exactly.
yeah, and they need to be putting energy into making sure that they have that. So I wouldn't be surprised if the winning teams. I think those fish were picked up from an enemy squad. Again, you're helping out the enemy by fishing a little, but um, you need to be keeping track of that kind of stuff.
I swear, if you keep mentioning fish, I am so hungry right now. You are
Ugh,
torturing me.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a big fan of fish. I know we talked about
Really?
mayonnaise and fish and stuff.
Oh
Actually,
yeah.
okay, now that we're on a subject, a salmon patty with mayonnaise, uh, that's pretty good. Salmon patty of good, river fish. I can deal with river fish, but the things that they're pulling out of the lakes and the things that they're putting out of the ocean there, that like orange stuff, I can't do that. My omega 3 No, we're good. These players, though, they can't get enough. They're going to be
That's
eating
true.
4 fish at the end of the map. And they timed it impeccably well. It's important to mention that if you mistime that, like, the eating fish thing, that could cost you the like, the game.
It can. And we almost saw that too with, I believe it was Wobbs at the very end. He was eating fish like it was nobody's business, trying to heal up at the very end. And luckily, he did just have enough to heal himself into victory. But even before that, especially Shottle, with all the chug jugs he was gulping down at once, that was costing him a lot of time that he really needed to get out of there. And I think that's a huge attribution of what caused him to lose.
Yeah, the final round there, seeing players figure out what they can do with their resources. It's I like seeing people, after the strategy behind, should I heal or should I try to kill the guy above me? Because if I can get the guy above me's health lower than what it is right now, I have a better chance. And I obviously I play a little bit too risky. I would only be going to kill the guy, and all they'd have to do is build up some
Hello?
structure around me, and I would have no
Wait,
chance.
hey,
Hello, Studlow. I believe we are going to an interview on Studlow, I believe, momentarily. But yes, I think we will be looking at the scores overall as well. But before we even to go for the interview, we do have to say congratulations on his placement as well. It's really cool to see. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall, Studlow, other players did such a good job. We're gonna be looking at the stats in just a second to see the final placements of everybody. But after that, we do have a small little interview, and I really can't wait to ask all these amazing questions.
Yeah, just waiting on some approval to see when we're going to be going ahead. I have first question coming out, Studlow. How are you feeling after that map? What are some of the emotions you have going through your mind right now?
so like honestly, it was we were just playing. We had the regular tournament. I was playing trios and with another partner for on Fortnite, and then I just went in this one. I was like, yeah, I don't really care. And then we got second. We're like, okay, we're doing good. And then we just like we just got pretty much good placement and a decent amount of kills. And yeah,
So you've been competing the entire night then?
yeah, pretty much.
Nice. Yeah,
Nice.
it's exciting to see your kind of rise to this. Is there anything that kind of surprised you about the people competing right now? Some of their strategies or how they're playing?
I definitely didn't think there'd be like I Benji and his teammate. They did outstanding. They did better than I thought anybody here could do, and um, yeah, they did pretty good. We tried, but
Yeah, I mean, talk to us more about that dynamic of playing in the lobby against pro players. Now, I'm sure it's not the first time that you have, but even then, in a tournament setting, that can be really nerve-wracking, especially with a duo where you have to communicate. You have to be able to make sure you can bring yourselves to that finish line. And I would love for you to talk to us about that whole dynamic of playing against players that are all really, top tier.
yeah. I mean, I've been competing with that my teammate since like 2 years, so we've
No,
had pretty
whoa,
good chemistry.
that's longer than most pro teams.
Yeah, and he was he like goes to my school. We hang out all the time, so I think that helped us a lot.
Yeah, I talked about previously about how duos separates itself from most modes, and the way that there is kind of a more importance for synergistic relationships between your players and having a relationship between them. So it is good to hear that you guys have been together for 2 years now on 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 doing this well in this tournament. I have a couple more. Just a couple more questions for you. Do you think you'd be competing in any other tournaments in the future? Maybe a GameSync tournament if you'd like?
I okay. So I've been competing in last year's. I think I did like three of them. I actually won the last one in solos that they did last year. And then I just wanted to do it again because it was pretty fun. Good community, and then pretty much are just gonna probably keep playing them in the future.
Nice. Good to hear. We're happy to see you.
And what's cool about that too is, you continuing on the GameSync tournaments allows you to get farther and farther in the placements overall. Speaking of which, you won 20 placement points in, the GameSync atmosphere, the whole tournament scene for coming in second place today, and that's really huge. And that's going to allow you to have better placements later on as well in future tournaments, better seeding, and it's just going to be really big for you in the long run.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Thank you for joining us. Please enjoy your night. And we're happy to see you. We're happy to see you do well in future tournaments.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night, man.
All right.
Ooh, drum
Going on to
roll.
our
Are you
second
ready?
interview. Yeah,
That's
go
right.
ahead.
It's funny. We went for second place first. Oh, no, we are losing connection.
Oh no.
Dwarf, I think we might be
There is a little
stranded.
bit of technical difficulties. Heck, if we
Oh.
were, not in the part of the like our timeline that we are, we could probably be in a studio right now in lower San Francisco. And we'd bring him on stage and we'd say, "Hey, what's up?" There's no connection issue there. They're right in front of us. So there's a little frustrating to have that kind of miscommunication in this format, but it's the life we live now, and that's okay. We'll adapt. But it was nice
Have
to
you
talk
ever
to the
been to San
second place.
Francisco?
I have. I went
Ooh.
there. It's a little embarrassing. I was very obsessed with the TV show Man in the High Castle. And in that show, I visited San Francisco to see some of the sights, but not just for that. I obviously went to go see the other things. Do you want to kick off our other interview?
I sure do. It looks like we have Dog on the mic. How's it going, Dog?
It's good. It's good.
Oh, sweet. So, first and foremost, congratulations on the first place slot. Not only do you get a bunch of points in the GameSync atmosphere, but you also walk home with $20 with you and your duo, which is, if you don't, if it were me, I'd be feeling pretty good right now. But, how are you feeling after ending all those games?
Oh, it was so stressful, especially being on high ping for the last 2 games. It was rough.
Are you West Coast?
Yeah.
No, well, you would have fooled me.
It's weird because we played better on East, so.
It's all about the mentality, you know? But
Yeah,
with that
for
being
sure.
said, though, you guys have that kind of org backing behind you. You guys have a little bit more resources to your advantage compared to a lot of these other teammates. Do you feel as a duo that really helps you guys set yourself apart from a lot of other duos like in this tournament? Or do you think it's all about that strong synergy you guys have?
NRG really plays a big part in it. I think their backing sorry. Their backing is a big help because setups and stuff we have a big competitive advantage. But yeah, we have and me and Benji Fishy have a strong chemistry. So
That is so exciting to hear about. I'm so sorry I ever doubted your association with NRG. You can never be too safe sometimes, but that is so exciting. What an amazing opportunity to have. Now, what I'm wondering about is, you said you're coming in as I guess one of the premier pro players in this tournament. It is so exciting to see that you are, performing as well as you did, and even doing well on higher ping. It's remarkable. What has led you to this point? What are some experiences that maybe helped you along the way, that kind of give you that competitive edge that people might not know about? What does your kind of training look like? What are some of the resources that you have that isn't maybe just uh, NRG? What made you peak to win this last round?
because of not having school in person, I get to play for like 12 to 14 hours a day. The grind never stops really. One of my biggest inspirations is Booga himself. He's daddy. He's so good. I really take after him, and once he won World Cup, I strive to be the next Booga.
Oh, wow. That is really exciting to hear you say that. I really love the motivation coming out. Definitely playing for as long as you do, you're definitely be playing at the level you are. One of the special things we noticed about your play was how not safe, but you guys played to win. The people that you were killing before, we were spectating. You know, Wubsef and like uh Petit, and they were this really aggressive, rambunctious shotgun squad. And you put a stop to that pretty quickly as soon as you got them into your sights. You played this really smart building style that enabled enemies to take down other enemies. What kind of strategy were you talking about coming into, let's say, the first round, no, the second, the wait, no, the third round, that win on that kind of lake space? What were some of your communications? What were you thinking in that moment?
Me and my duo were definitely strategizing beforehand because we realized it was heavy placement based. So even though other teams were W king, we knew if we got good placements every game, we could still pull out the win. Using the boat to our advantage in the third game really helped. There was a team in full metal, and our boat really just took that metal base out. Um,
Oh, I remember that.
yeah, it was a big play.
Yeah, I was excited to see that as well. The I did not realize that that boat was fitted with rocket launchers, and yeah, they may have a weird advantage. But you guys really, you played your placements really excitingly. Keg, do you have any other questions?
Absolutely. I only have one final question for you guys. You have won the entirety of this GameSync tournament. You guys have the podium right now. You guys have a whole audience of friends, enemies, maybe even, parents, loved ones in the audience right now. What do you have to say to them?
I love you, Booga.
Well, there you have it. Thank you very much for coming on here. You did a fantastic job here tonight, and it's super exciting to possibly maybe even interview you for a future tournament if you come into first place again. Absolutely, likewise. Well, thank you very much for coming on here. And Dwarf, that was a fantastic tournament that we saw here today.
Yeah, amazing tournament to see. I liked seeing the improvement of play that all of the players exhibited, and the storylines that existed within it, the own meta that developed. One of my favorite things in esports in general is when you show up to a tournament, you're not 100% sure what the meta is going to be, no matter what sport it is. And Fortnite is no different. The mini meta that developed was fishing, um and it was shotguns.
And
It was
Bushman.
so, and Bushman, of course. We could see these players kind of dive deeper into these kind of ideas and how the play styles fit around them, and how to make sure that they're at the top of the scoreboards at the end of the match. A lot of intelligence, a lot of wit coming out from these squads. I'm very grateful to be able to cast for them.
Yeah, it has been an amazing time to have here tonight. Of course, we got to thank our other set of duo casters as well. It was Sep and Jack who did an amazing job on the West Coast games. But with that being said, I think we're just about ready to wrap things up. I think we still need to show the scoreboard for the entirety of the tournament. I want to see where everyone went in the end. But with that being said, though, I cannot wait to cast for another Game Sync tournament, Dwarf. I don't know about you.
Yeah, GameSync is going to be pumping out a lot of these tournaments coming soon. Even working with some local parks and recreation departments is going to be pretty important in the future, because there's these community events that you're going to be able to participate in, and it'll increase this, feeling more connected to each other, um, in this kind of weird world we live in, and just being able to participate in the things like this with each other is super helpful. I remember at the start of everything not feeling like we really didn't have a way to respond yet, and having events like these is a great way to do that. So keep on going for these kind of events and attend them, no matter even if you play the game or not. Make sure you create some form of community on your own, um, because everyone wants to go have fun with friends, and it's always better when it's a little bit more organized. I'd much rather be here than stuck in some competitive queue trying to grind for rank. Oh my gosh, that would be heartbreaking.
Absolutely.
So nice to be here.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic time, and I'm sure it's the first of many opportunities that we all have as players and casters and production. But with that being said, we're not done just yet. Later on, we do have the Oceanside tournament later this week, so we hope to see you guys all there as well. Bigger bucks, bigger tournaments, bigger players coming on through, and I can't wait to see how that all turns out. But that is it for us tonight. My name is Kay. You can find me at Twitter at Keglanek. It's spelled up there. And Dwarf, where can we find you on Twitter?
I don't use Twitter, but this is my Twitter. Whoa, this is my Twitter. Wait, what?
It's
I hate it. I don't like
it's
that. It's right there, but I prefer Instagram. You can just find me at Dwarfs.
or
Heck, I'm
Instagram.
on. I'm a yeah. Yeah, I'm more of an Instagram user. Anyways, yep, you can find me on Twitter at that. But yeah, I've had an awesome time. Thank you everyone for attending GameSync, Synchronicity's Fortnite tournament. That's gonna be Dwarf signing off.
Cool.